5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good evening, everybody. It's David Schlotthauer here. There's a huge delay at that point, so yeah, I wanted to make sure it was going through. So, good evening. Happy fall equinox for those people that are watching this, that are just tuning in. My name is David Schlotthauer, your severe weather, winter storm, tropical weather expert. Get the 3, name the 3, right? And in this, we're actually watching Invest 97L tonight as we are waiting. We're literally 20-ish minutes away from our 0Z model guidance to come in. All right, our latest forecast analysis will be here on the channel in about 20 minutes. How excited is that? Hey Siri, set alarm 20 minutes. Hey Siri.
20-minute.
Set alarm 20 minutes.
20 minutes starting now.
All right. So when she rings, models are going to start rendering. So I hope you guys are enjoying yourself, enjoying your evening, enjoying your Sunday evening. Just got back from Costco, had some pepperoni pizza with some of their best ice cream. I'll tell you what, nice and smooth. Oh, you can just take it all in. Yeah, I just love their ice cream. I can just sit there and sit at the table and just keep ordering their ice cream because it is indeed some good stuff. I think it's more healthier than the ice cream at the store just because it has that smooth feeling or a smooth taste. And so I'm thinking it's probably half and half mixed in with creamers and other stuff. It's not crunchy. If you notice, you eat ice cream from the store or something, you buy it, it has a little crunchy taste or a little, just doesn't have that smooth kind of thing, okay? But on from our ice cream, these clouds have a taste of like ice cream. I mean, they do. You have your Neapolitan-like colors, a rainbow sherbet look to the satellite imagery, and I will tell you what, this is some very deep convection right here. I'm a little surprised it's actually kind of bowing out. It looks almost, oops, can I stop the satellite imagery? Can we stop it? There we go. Let's stop it right there. So, and let's just use, let's see, what color would stand out? Probably yellow. I think yellow would probably stand out a little bit better. This nice looking horseshoe shape right here, this kind of bow out segment, kind of like a mid-plains, like mid-west kind of setup here where we have that bowing segment, these arcing look here to the cloud cover. After doing some reanalysis on this, this is not where the center is. It's probably underneath somewhere, underneath this canopy. I hate infrared satellite imagery for that reasoning because it doesn't give out the low-level cloud cover unless there's no cirrus clouds. So we have to wait until sun up for tomorrow, and our nights are longer, so it's going to take a little longer for us to see if there is indeed a center underneath all of this. I would assume there's probably some sort of deformation going on after seeing this big burst of thunderstorm activity. And some of the cloud tops, folks, today did reach as cold as negative 95 Celsius. In fact, if we go back a little bit, right in here is when we got some very cold cloud tops, which again is all that moisture, okay? That instability, it's cold aloft, okay? You got colder air over warmer moist air at the surface. So that's how you get your instability. We're not seeing that capping inversion like we saw, say, in late August, early September. Oh my gosh. I still will have to do research on why I think this season did not play out as what we were expecting. I'm assuming it's because of one, the QBO, which is in its westerly phase, might have a lot to do with why the 200 millibar layer has been really warm, which is where jet planes fly. And that is over the North Atlantic and also off of Africa. But things are beginning to finally change, and that's because of our interseasonal signal that is responding to the MJO. We have cooling 200 millibar temperatures because the fall, boreal winter is coming, and as that happens, our temperatures fall aloft. But when we look at the satellite, again, this big burst of deep convection, a lot of lightning today. I actually looked on windy.com earlier. If actually we bring that up, we had a lot of lightning that blew up. Yeah, right here. All this lightning just exploding today. And at one point, there was over 10,000 lightning strikes in a couple of hours within this whatever banding future. It's probably a banding future, kind of a semi arc cloud kind of emanating away from where that center maybe is. We don't have much radar data to confirm that, but what we do have, boy, is a lot of lightning with that. And it's one of those things, this system kind of is showing its angry colors. This is what Ian did. It had this big arc cloud look to it on the northern side, and the thing just went completely after that once it got closer to the Bay of Youth. Ian is a good example in this situation. Michael as well. Some of our more intense hurricanes. So now, since we looked at the IR satellite imagery, what is the environment looking like above the hood, we shall say, right? So we looked at our cloud cover. The water vapor imagery is also another product that I like to use. Now, a lot of people, or not everyone, but many people like to use the RGB product. I honestly, in my personal preference, I like to stay away from that. And that's because these green and blue colors are really hard to make out sometimes, at least to me, maybe to you as well. And all black up here is, of course, drier air. I would prefer to use the kind of the black, gray, and white kind of old-fashioned look to this, because you could actually see more tone to the color. So we have all this white and bright gray, which indicates a lot of moisture, but that's also cirrus clouds that we're seeing. But look at what's to the north here. There's a lot of moisture out ahead of this, and we have a little bit of a low. So we have kind of a trough that is kind of like this, and we have this westerly flow that's doing this. And that really initializes well on the GFS model. And so we do have a little bit of drier air there, but this drier air is going to be out of the picture. That's not going to be what's going to cause this to not strengthen very quickly. I think we're going to see a lot of rapid intensification with this, and I'll show you why in a little bit. All right. But also there's a lot of this moisture. This is a very nice broad bubble of warm, moist, unstable air over the northwestern Caribbean, over Honduras, as well as Belize and the Yucatan. A lot of moisture out of this system, and that's why I do see this having a very high ceiling. I saw some of your comments earlier saying that I think you're going a little overboard with this. Okay, models tell you one thing, but actual analysis tells you another thing, okay? Yesterday, it looked very messy and oblong looking. That's why I kind of went off on a rant on Twitter. You all probably saw that and said, David's not expecting development. Now we're starting to see things really congeal. Now that something is probably forming, we could better forecast it. So in this case, we're probably going to end out with a really intense system. If it's going to become a major hurricane, that remains to be seen. If the GFS is really onto something, I'll tell you what, me and Pat did talk last night and a little bit today about this, and the GFS has done pretty well. I think we could all agree it did really well with Francine. It was kind of the first come first serve on that. The European was slow to kind of latch on. What are we seeing tonight? The European is latching onto the GFS, not the GFS latching onto the European model. And I will show you that here when we get our new models out. But this is what we're seeing. Very good environment that this is within. There is maybe a touch of westerly shear that is trying to get entrenched, but that is also abating. And this system is moving this way gradually. And I'm telling you, I keep on saying it again and again, we are going to see some pretty extensive deepening with this system as it moves over the Yucatan Channel, maybe even over the tip here of the Yucatan Peninsula, and then off into the Gulf it goes. This is not going to go into the Bay of Campeche. There is no way about it. This upper level flow out of the westerly direction here will not allow this to kind of get flung this way like we saw with our other system where it kind of did this and then it kind of popped out. That was Francine. We're not seeing that in this case. This is going to go into the Yucatan Channel and into the Gulf, where it could encounter some very ripe conditions. So let's take a look at our NHC outlook. I'm really betting, I'm placing all of my money in their next update, which this update will include that. I will include the latest NHC once they come out with their update. Right now, it is at a 50 to 80% chance of tropical development. 80% chance, I think that's a bit generous, especially once we get our 0Z models in tonight. I'll tell you what right now, if they continue to go aggressive, I think they will. I'm almost certain about that. I think the NHC will probably go 90% in the next 7 days. Most guaranteed, I think they're going to do it. And then I know I've not been talking a lot about it because I want to, for my videos, for viewer purposes, I want to really just talk about this in my videos. But we really got to watch what comes off of Africa. We cannot ignore that. This system right here will be a nothing burger. It's going to go out and it's going to turn to the north. There's another system, though, that we might have to watch after that that could have a much different scenario, and it may go much further west. Now, that's very far out, and actually, I'll show you that here on the 18Z run before our 0Zs come in. So here's the actual analysis. I definitely need to work on incorporating this into my video updates with our analysis, what we're seeing. And this is our 0Z analysis. Very well it matches with what I'm about to show you. Definitely showing this arcing band-like feature. Okay, and that was well illustrated with the GFS. GFS has done really well with this. So we can see there is our vorticity max right there. Pretty strong. It really has intensified today a little bit. And also there is our doodad. Our doodad, yes, say it with me, folks. Our tropical doodad out there that the NHC, and I've seen tweet posts on it that, gosh, this thing looks like a tropical depression. I don't know if the NHC is not going to talk about that just because it's not impacting anyone, but there is something there. There's that vorticity plot. And again, this is current. The 0Z model output in this forecast or in this initialization. And this is going to be put into our 0Z models tonight, which is pretty cool. There is depression number 10 right there over the eastern portion of the Pacific. Yeah, interestingly, there's going to be a lot of flurry of activity here, in fact, on some of the guidance as this pinwheels this way. Actually, this is one of the reasons why 97L is going to go north like it is, because we have our other system, and so we have a little bit of a Fujiwara effect. Only briefly, but enough to slingshot this northward, and that's what we're seeing. So another cool product that I also like to show, and I'm going to start probably incorporating this into my live streams, is upper level winds. Different colors mean different things, right? So actually, this is all in the upper levels because we're looking at 350 millibars and higher, from 500 millibars actually, all the way up to 100 millibars. And so this gives us an estimation of what our winds are doing at different levels. It's really cool what satellite data could actually do. Technology, folks, it's come a long way. Man, I'm getting my iPhone 16 here. Hopefully soon. Might have to start calling up AT&T and figure out where my dang iPhone is. My iPhone 16 Pro Max. Yeah, I'm going to get the almost 7-inch screen in my hands, and it's going to do 4K camera quality at 120 frames a second, which is great. But on off from the AT&T, technology has improved where satellites could actually estimate winds for us. So this is pretty impressive here, this outflow channeling in most of the quadrants. We got even outflow, look at this, coming out from the east. So this is definitely breathing very well. I took, actually it's in the next one. There we go. I'll show you that here in a second. Definitely a isotropic ridge in 200 millibars over the central Gulf Coast. That's why this system's not really in no hurry to go northward anytime soon. And so this is basically our background environment of what the model sees. And this is 0Z initialized. This initializes every 3 hours for the helps of our intermediate runs too. So what we're also looking at here is our divergent flow between the 300 and 150 millibar. And I know this is pretty complicated. Different levels have different millibars, okay? So your upper levels are typically from about 500 millibars all the way up to about 1,000 millibars. That's where, I mean, when you go up to 1,000 millibars, that's where the G4 aircraft will fly. It'll fly at 47,000 feet. We'll deploy these drop zones to better get the atmosphere. So it's going to measure wind speed, it's going to measure humidity, and all kinds of cool stuff. And there will be some gonzo aircraft out on this. I'm very sure they're going to do a full-fledged investigation. And what they will look for is, what is the atmosphere doing around this? Is there dry air? Is there wind shear and stuff? And that will be fed into the models. Think of a model, you all, as a supercomputer. It is a supercomputer. Ones and zeros in numerical language. That's what everything is. An image is an image, but it's all in ones and zeros. And that's ones and zeros will give us an image on, oh, based on these conditions, the model shows this, right? I'm actually going to open house on Wednesday, and the teacher there asked me, can you do a little presentation on what weather models actually are? Yes, a teacher that I go to the adult school to get my diploma. Don't ask me why I don't have my diploma. Yes, I didn't do good in school, and some of us don't do good in school, but I'm going there to get my diploma, and we'll be graduating there soon, and on my way to Delta College I go to get my meteorological degree eventually. That's a long way out, but that for another day. So she asked me, can you do a weather presentation for us? So, and a weather forecast, because she loves me that much. She loves my channel. She loves just everything that I do. All right, so wind shear, definitely strong up there to the north. Yes, wind shear is a wind direction change with height, and we're seeing a lot of that wind shear. But don't worry, that wind shear is mainly outflow based. So this wind shear will not be getting in the way of our system that develops down here to the south. All right, now on to another part. Looking at the upper ocean heat content. All right, you guys can call me fear mongering at this point. And honestly, I'm kind of over it with the hateful comments. Not going to get into much of that. So if you guys want to kind of say I'm fear mongering, go for it. I dare you to, because honestly, I don't care. This is concerning. This is just absolutely disgusting to look at. All of this upper ocean heat content here in the north or in the southeastern Gulf of Mexico. I mean, this is absurd. This is just remarkable. This is just, I have never seen anything like this. This is concerning. All right. I will check DMs later. Pat, use this map. Okay, I will use that map courtesy of Pat's Path Predictor. Let me see if I could copy link. Let me see if I can bring it on here. Yes, it worked. Yes, thank you, Pat. Thank you. All right, so this is the upper ocean heat content. And, oh yeah, this is from Cyclonic WX. I know that website, of course. Why didn't I even get it from over there? I just had to cheat my way and look at Discord, huh? Upper ocean heat content, this is remarkable. This is just serious, all seriousness. And who cares if I fearmonger? This is bad. This is not good. Upper ocean heat content above 180 units in general. All right. even a little bit of this northern extent of the loop current. Yes, in geology and oceanic circulation, yes, you get your loop current that actually goes up kind of like this. It does something like this, and it goes around and then kind of goes out like that. That's your Gulf Stream. And this is impressive. This loop current right here. And guess what? I've got some bad news to share with you. Okay? Where's our system going to be moving over? Everyone's asking, right? Well, let's see. It's going to go this way, and then it's going to track that way, right over that loop current. That's concerning. That raises my eyebrows, and to be quite honest, folks, I'm concerned that the models are not seeing this very well still. Even the GFS. I think this has a ceiling that we may not get until we actually get an inner core structure. For Pete's sakes, and let me ask you this question. Did the models, I want to ask you all this, take away from the hurricane models, did the global models see Beryl becoming a Cat 5 hurricane in the South or in the Eastern Caribbean? Right? I want to have you guys answer that. Did the global models even see that intensifying to a Cat 5? No, they didn't. They did not. Oops. And there is the note. There's my alarm letting me know. So we have to move on because our models are coming out really soon here. And the models did not see Beryl rapidly intensifying. They did show at least some sort of a hurricane, we could all agree, but never showed a 170, 75 mile an hour hurricane Cat 5 in the Eastern Caribbean. That's why I'm starting to agree that this might end up a much bigger system than what we might think. Gosh, models did not see Francine becoming a Cat 2, right? Even a day before, we thought maybe this won't become a Cat 2. It did become a Cat 2. So that is why I'm a little concerned. I am really concerned, folks, and there's nothing more concerning than to actually see something that is going to be in front of our eyes. Okay, so before we look at the 0Z models, everyone, oh my gosh, we have 800 people watching. Invite your friends, invite your family, folks. I'm glad everyone's actually joining in and listening to what I have to presentate here, because there are reasons why I do fearmonger. And I'm aware I'm fear-mongering, but I'm also aware that something big might be coming around the corner, right? And again, models are hard to predict, but you got to first analyze everything. So, the GFS, the 18Z run. All right, let me see if I can match these images. And I'm going to ask you all this question, and you guys got to answer me yes or no. All right, so I'm going to draw this up right here. Does that right there, this is the 0Z, okay, not the 0Z run, the 18Z initialized model, forecasted for 0Z. So this is 6 hours into the future, we're past that. It's 03Z. Hey Siri, what Zulu time is it?
It's 8:39 p.m.
Okay, Siri doesn't know Zulu time, I guess. But you get the idea. Look at that. Look at that. I want you guys to take a long, good look. If you guys want to post this on Twitter, go for it. Just make sure you tag my name in it, WeatherForce, at WeatherForce1. That would be great. Or Weather United 1, not WeatherForce 1. Weather United 1 on Twitter. Now let's go back and look at this. Do we see any similarities? Sort of similarities. Little bit, not exact, but it's there. It's there. It's there on the 0Z run, and it's there on this forecast. So, therefore, we can make predictions and say, oh, maybe the GFS sees it. It sees it, right? It doesn't have eyes, but it sees the data. and extrapolates that data into a picture format. Remember, everything, folks, these images that you actually do see, and this might freak you out, it's all numerical language. Everything, your smartphone, your TV, your remote, well, not really, well, anything electronic, okay, is all programmed using what? Using ones and zeros, right? Using ones and zeros, ones and zeros, ones and zeros, okay? And this is grid space illustration. So the higher resolution, or the closer to the grid spacing, the more higher resolution you get for a model. All right, our 0Z, okay, I just kind of rambled and rambled and rambled. So here is our analysis. What did our 18Z show? Very similar. That's a problem. That is a problem. Actually, it looks a little bit more aggressive with this right over here. See this little piece right here? See this? See this? That's a little bit of a vortmax. Yes, Pat, I'm aware. We're looking at the 0Z right now. And look it. You want to know the cool thing? Let's go back 6 hours prior, okay? And let's look at our 18Z. Look it. Do you see differences in the imaging? Do you see this? This is the 18Z run, 0Z run, 18Z run, 0Z run, 18Z run, and 0Z run. Do you see the slight differences in the image? Sorry if I kind of had a little angry face. Wanted to be firm, kind of have that firm tone. Just a hunch. Okay, just a hunch, right? So just a hunch means all the difference, right? Little changes in the near term relate to big changes into the future, okay? Think about the butterfly effect, all right? Think about the snowball effect. When you knock down one domino, say you kind of set up a line of dominoes across the floor, and you by accidentally knock one over. Well, that one domino affects all of the dominoes that knock over, right? So this little change affects what goes on in the future. And let's play that through. So it looks like this is going to consolidate a little bit more stronger. Right here is where we see a consolidation by tomorrow morning. Okay, by tomorrow morning. Let's see what the icon shows, because someone was asking me about someone was mentioning about the icon. Let's look at that really quickly. Interesting, the icon wants this a lot further to the east. Wow, very similar to Ian, actually. Only that Ian really moved through slowly. And it really likes another system to develop down here. I don't know what that shenanigans is all about. It wants this system to develop right there. And if we go back and look at the 12Z run, it was barely there. So that really interests me if something actually develops there in 7 days. Now, let's go back and look at the GFS model again. Now, because this is live and these don't update every second, right? We got to wait for more frames to come in. I want to show you all the 18Z run. Now, of course, anything beyond 5 to 7 days is, well, maybe even 10 days is fantasy land. But wow, the 18Z run, and I even told Pat about this, give it a few more runs and we have a problem. So this is the 18Z initialized, so 6 hours ago, right? Well, actually, yeah, about 6 hours ago. Look at what we got, all right? This is not just your ordinary barrel-like hurricane or tropical system as it approaches the Windward Islands. Now, again, I want to make it clear in this live stream. This is one model in particular and not looking at a blend of models. So please use this to your discretion with caution, because we're looking over model runs. We're looking at the past. All right, this is what the 18Z showed. Now we're going to be moving on and looking at the 0Z run. But this really struck me, and I was actually driving. I was delivering some food to someone today because, long story short, they're not doing too well. I pray for them. I pray that they get better and stuff. So I was actually delivering food to them. And when I got out of the car, I had checked, or no, wait, it was before we left. That's right, because the model had been done. So before we left to go to Costco and to deliver food, I saw the 18Z run and I'm like, wow, this thing is going to be big if it develops. And look at this. Watch what happens. This is 300 hours out. So fantasy land, fantasy land, fantasy land. I've said it too many times. But look at how big this gets. And this is not just big. Wait until you see the pressure. Okay. Thank you so much, NATO. I do appreciate that. Look how big this thing gets. This is a big system. This would be kind of like a Fiona kind of thing. Not involved. Fiona was a little weaker, well, much weaker when it went through the Windward Islands, but kind of similar track, right? It kind of does that. And by the way, hits Bermuda directly. Okay. So if we go and look at the wind on this, actually I like looking at moisture. Look at that moisture bubble. Very symmetrical, very well built and structured. There's no shear on this. Like kind of a perfect system, you would say, on the model. In meteorological term, this is perfect. This is a perfect, well-structured system. Not perfect like it's going to, not that type perfect, but it's well built and it's well, you can just see it. All right. Yeah, for 850 people that are watching, hit the like button too if you are liking the stream. All right, but look at how strong this gets. That is a big deal. I'm telling you, for shipping interest, for boats, for people that go on a cruise. Yeah, this would have that interest, right? And then it would be a really big system, even when it impacts, if it impacts Bermuda, but very far out into the model, we don't know what the 0Z is going to show on that. But that is a very, very, very strong system. At least a Category 4 hurricane. That is a guarantee on this particular run. And that is why we've got to watch stuff coming off of Africa too. That's the second wave, by the way. So your first wave that comes off of Africa, that's the one that the NHC has highlighted. That's not going to be anyone's problem. That's going to go out to sea. That's what most of the guidance is showing. But there's another wave behind that, which we won't talk about that until we get through Helene. We can only do one at a time, folks, right? I'm not no supercomputer where I can talk million words a minute or millions, quadrillion words a minute. I would probably lose everybody if I did that, right? But we got to get through Helene first, and then if models continue this on this second system right here, we're going to have to probably start talking about that, because you got to assume if this goes further west, and look what it does. It goes further west. It goes pretty much exactly due west until the Windward Islands. And if it does, and again, that's if it does, we might have a much bigger problem ahead of us than just Helene alone for our folks that live over here in the northeastern and eastern Caribbean, and then eventually maybe in Bermuda. We don't want to forget about you all on this little small island right here of Bermuda, okay? And so first system first system out to sea. Second system, big question mark if that actually goes west. And if it does, and if it encounters very favorable conditions, it could be a much bigger deal. All right, probably one of the stronger ones, you know, of like Barrel 2, not, I don't want to say Barrel 2.0, but it would be another major out there and a big ace producer as well, racking up the ace points. So back to our GFS, since we talked about that system, just something on the radar I wanted you all to be aware of. We are not going to forget about what comes off of Africa just because we're focusing on Helene, and probably will be doing, or will be talking about Helene only in my videos, and then with the live streams, we would probably be focusing on two things, Helene and our areas of disturbed weather coming off of Africa. So just something to keep on your radar, that we don't have just one to watch. We might have another one out there. And it makes sense. Favorable MJO, divergent flow loft, lots of instability, lesser wind shear, more moisture. After all, it's late September, mid to late September. This is the peak month of hurricane season. And that's why we cannot stop talking and tracking the tropics, you know. We will have to wait and see what goes on, though. All right, so this is the latest GFS, and I don't know, Pat, did that intensify? Did it strengthen? It's just a dark red dot. I don't know if it's strengthened. It's very hard to tell. You're going to have to tell me on this one. Yes, it did. It is further south on average. From complete to complete run, it is further south. Interesting though, this little doodad, I'm gonna call it tropical depression doodad. I mean, that's a little tiny little guy. Little tiny little guy out there. And look at this. Model says nope to the dress, and it just disintegrates it. On the 0Z run, that's the Eastern Pacific one. That is right over here. That's tropical depression doodad. I just like saying doodad because it literally is. It's just it's very tiny. It's very, very small. And small systems don't do very well. Even the slightest touch of dry air gets entrenched, then system really. Thank you, Kenny. I got it actually from Mark Sedith, hurricanetrack.com. Probably the only person I'll watch is Hurricane Track and sometimes Weatherman Plus, but most likely Hurricane Track and Mr. Weatherman are my two top sources that I watch when it comes to the tropics. Tropical storm doodad. All right, so Pat said, David, I can join the stream to help explain this a bit. In a little bit. Oh, gosh. It's weaker on this run. I think it's weaker. It is weak. It's a little stronger, but it is further south, though. That makes up for it being a little weaker. So it's a little further south. Look at how it goes west, though. It goes actually west. That's scary. It goes a little west, and then it might launch north. What I get concerned about is look at all these little vorticities right here. You know what that is, actually? Those little vortmaxes? Guess what that actually is, folks? I want to see if you guys have been taking notes in my videos. It's stronger. It's in relative sense. It's not. It's about the same. Nice, Brittany. I love your name, right? By the way, I can just call you Britney Spears, right? Brittany Parker. I love it. It does not mean water spouts. It's actually spin. And why this worries me is, look at, we got some banding futures showing up. Look at this. Got some banding futures. We got a little bit of a banding future right here. This is really classic that I'm looking for a rapidly intensifying system. And I don't even want to look. Oh man, it is definitely stronger. Is it? Pat, it is stronger. In relative to its position, it is stronger by 1 millibar. 1 millibar stronger. 1 millibar stronger. It is stronger than the 18Z run. It is stronger than the 18Z run right now. We are at hour 54. For those that are tuning in, we are at hour 54. And so since we have 850 people watching this live stream, this is the chance where you guys can learn a lot from looking at maps like this. What you're looking at is vorticity, spin in the atmosphere. Man, if I can get a better way, my fan is spinning right now, blowing air on me. It's spin. It's round and round and round. Okay? It's rotation. It is spin in the atmosphere. It's it's vertical vorticity, cyclonic vorticity. And so the redder, so the color shading is the strength of the vorticity. Yellow colors indicate very low, very little vorticity, like what we're seeing right here. See what I'm pointing to right there? That is little vorticity. When you go up on the orange, it starts getting stronger. So we may, at this point, have maybe a low-end depression, a tropical depression. When you get stronger in the red colors, into the darker reds, well, more in the medium or like just solid red, that's when you get to like a low to mid-grade tropical storm. Well, actually more of a low-grade tropical storm. When you get into the red colors, the darkest red, that usually indicates a strong tropical storm or greater. Okay? A strong tropical storm or greater. So this is kind of a product that I like to look at because it gives us an idea on how strong our spin is. If the spin is stronger, well, our low is stronger. And that's what this map shows us. It shows us that. Can you guys are beating me to the frames. Come on. Enjoy the stream. Watch as I watch it instead of looking at it on your smartphone. Time to put down the technology, folks, and listen to me on a TV. You could listen to me on a smartphone or an iPad. But because you're spoiling. Every time I look at the chat, I'm like, oh, it's down to 967. It's like, dude, you got it before me. So, wow, you guys are just on a roll tonight. You guys are just like, I want to get the information as soon as possible, regardless of David's stream. I'm trying to provide it as latest information as we can. Stronger and more east. Yes, stronger and more east, but that doesn't mean that the impacts won't be that bad. Again, little tweaks to the model. Little tweaks. But at this point, the NHC is going to go 90. At this point, we could all agree in the chat that they're going to go 90% in their next outlook, in the 7-day forecast. In their 2-day chances, they're probably going to go at least 70%. At least 60 or 70%. All right, let's see. Whoa, it shifted east. My calculations were right. Ian 2.0. Boy, we can call you a model user Nazis, something like that. User Nazis. You could be a weather model. By the way, please hit the like button, folks. Let's get this up to over 500 likes. I do appreciate it. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Is that 956, folks? Is at 956. Nice, Joseph. Are you serious? That's consistent. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, last 3 runs, it's been showing that. 956 millibars. Wow, that is really, that's pretty intense right there. And we're going to zoom in. We're actually going to zoom in now since we could actually look at the southeastern sector. So again, you're looking at it when I look at it, and I'm only up to 72 hours. If you want proof, actually 78 hours. 946 millibars. Only 6 millibars weaker than the 12Z run. So we'll see how deep this actually gets. We will have to wait and see if this gets even deeper than the 0Z run in future model runs. But just to show you, I'm only up to 78 hours. That's can't go to 84 hours yet because it's not out. So yeah, you're watching it you're watching it as it happens, okay, in real time. That really deepens though. That I'm afraid that the GFS is not seeing it deepen as quick, and I think our hurricane models are going to tell the full story once those come out. I think this is going to be deeper than 946 here. I think about at least 940 millibars, like the 12Z, still illustrates the possibility. It's slowing down and waffling east. Yeah, well, that's what most of the models have shown. Look at this. Dune. It's been shifting east. So Tampa Bay now could be impacted by this. And I don't like saying this. Someone did mention it in the chat. Ian 2.0. Okay. It's not as deep. It's 942. It's only 2 millibars deeper than the last run. Interesting that it's weak, though. It's not weak, but it's not any stronger. You know, there's not much shear on this too, so I don't understand why the model really thinks. Yep, only 941 at hour 90. So, wow, that's moving really fast. That's coming in really quick. Yeah, it's not as strong. It's about as strong as the 18Z run, actually. So it's very interesting. But yeah, you bet. There is going to be tropical storm force winds over central Florida, like Orlando, Florida at this point. This is a bad situation with the Big Bend here. Historic to big storm surge events, because you have this horseshoe right here acts as big of like a big bowl that piles all that water in. So you can, in this case, depending on how fast this actually moves, this could be one of the situations you could see storm surge on this up to perhaps we could have storm surge reaching as high as probably about 10 to 15 feet. Up to 15 feet perhaps. The trend has been to the east in recent model runs. We can see that the last 1, 2, 3, actually the last 4 model runs, it's been trending east. So we'll see if this trend actually continues. Man, we have 950 people watching this. Man, if you guys are absolutely liking the detailed breakdown with this GFS, we got the Canadian model that is going to be next up. Batter up will be the Canadian model. We have the Icon model that is a little further to the east. There is Tampa Bay right there. So Tampa Bay, Florida. Here is where the GFS has it. A little bit to the northwest of the icon. And we will wait patiently when we receive. Actually, let's look at the European 18Z run. The 18Z run is right with the GFS, right on top of the GFS, and does show strong tropical storm, if not hurricane force winds. So in general, there's going to be a big system right here. A very strong hurricane, maybe a major hurricane at this point. Thank you so much, Shane. I do appreciate that, sweetheart. I do appreciate that. We're waiting for hour 96, 4-day frame to come in right here. Yeah, we didn't get it yet. Look at that. Look at that vorticity, that spin in the atmosphere. That is pretty tight. That is a lot of spin. What's up, Greg? How are you doing? What's up, Chase? What's going on? Welcome, everybody. Again, happy fall equinox. Can't believe it's already fall. It's already fall. Time goes by. Time flies. I guess when you're busy with stuff. And I've been busy here on the YouTube channel at keeping you updated. Yes. Even so, I had some propaganda last night and shenanigans. Actually not. It was propaganda and shenanigans on Friday and Saturday. What's up? Thank you for the $10 donation. Thank you, Jonathan Wardrop, for the $2 donation. Hey, David, is this going to become another Adalia? I think Adalia, that's how you say it. It is very possible. It is not surprising. But look at how strong this is. Once this makes landfall, still very strong tropical storm force winds. And that's a concern here. This system is going to race onshore, perhaps, and it's going to bring tropical storm force winds well inland, away from the Florida coast. But look at this. 52 knot winds right here. 52 knot winds in the eastern quadrant. That is about 65, close to 70 miles an hour. That will blow down trees and power lines. That's a very strong system. Moving over where I used to live, yes, I used to live in Augusta, Georgia when I was like 13 years old. Wouldn't that be fun to actually witness something like this? It'd be very interesting being in Augusta, Georgia and witnessing a 967 millibar system over my area. So this is not a good situation on the GFS. Even so, it's not any stronger than the 12Z run. It is not any weaker than the 18Z run. And this is still in major hurricane intensity based on our air pressure. And this did trend again further to the east. We will see if this actually ends up on the other side here of Florida. If this continues to trend east, it could actually go back out over the Atlantic. We'll see, because the trends have continued that way. Here's a look at the rainfall forecast, and look at that eye. Look at that curly Q. Maybe even a closed eye wall here. And it does show us this, that it gets down to 940, 948 millibars, 941. Thank you. Hey, David, when do you think the NHC will designate this as a PTC? Probably by early tomorrow morning. And again, it's all based on convective trends. They're going to get recon out there. And I wanted to show you all the recon data, or not recon data, but the upcoming recon missions. They have like 7 or 8 planes that are going to go out into this tomorrow. So we are going to have a lot of data, including 2 upper-level Gonzo drop-zone missions. And 4 or 5 missions were ordered for low-level reconnaissance. So we're going to give you a lot of data Probably in tomorrow's early afternoon update. I may have to do an early morning update in video format. We'll have to see, depending on how this all evolves. May have to get up really early. Something like that. Yes, Mike. So that's what we're going to be watching. Thank you for the $10 donation. I do appreciate all the donations, folks. I really do. Check CMC. All right, let's check the CMC. I'm actually a little nervous if that even uptrended. Let's see. Did it? Yeah, it did. It did uptrend a lot. It did uptrend, notably, actually. Look at that. Notable uptrend. It does not show a hurricane, though. That's the interesting. The purple here. By the way, the purple is not hurricane force winds in this zoomed out or in this zoomed in version. This purple is actually 50 knot winds. So that's storm force. 50 knot winds here in purple, not hurricane force. So it is interesting. Don't get confused with that purple like, oh, it looks like a hurricane, David. It's actually not. It's 50 knot winds, not 65 knot winds. 15 knots weaker. But it is stronger than the last run by a big margin. And it does impact the same area. So the GFS, so let me actually do some analysis. So the GFS is the black dot. Let's see the Canadian model. The Canadian is exactly in the... Oh, wait, where did my black dot go? It just disappeared. I think I have this where it fades out. So sorry. So the GFS is here. Let's go to the Canadian model. And look at how similar that is. In the same time frame, the icon is over here. Over here. Boy, my voice cracked there. And let's see. The European 18Z run is all we have right now. We'll wait for the 0Z. Pretty remarkable agreement. A lot of convergence in the output. As far as the 0Z, 118Z run, we didn't get a 0Z in on that yet. But there is a condolence of agreement here that more likely than not, east half of the Gulf of Mexico is going to see some sort of impacts. Now, you're going to get some breezy winds coming offshore over Louisiana, Mississippi, and even Alabama. All right, maybe some moderate to heavy rainfall as well from that. But you're not going to see any sort of hurricane force winds at the moment. We're not seeing the models trend in that direction. Now looks like the Big Bend here. Actually, you know what? This reminds me of Debbie, but way stronger than Debbie. Forget about how strong Debbie was. That was only 80 miles an hour. But taking the same track in similar unison to what this system is, or than what Debbie did. So the Big Bend, Tampa, Florida, Tampa Bay, that whole neck of the woods. Actually, let me bring up Google Maps because I want to name down a few cities here. So Tampa, Clearwater, Cedar Key, and I'll tell you, Cedar Key is not a place to be during this storm. All this is swampland. Cedar Key, I have a few viewers that do watch this from Cedar Key, so my hearts and thoughts are going out to you that live there. I mean, if this, we'll keep an eye on the models, but if the trends continue like this, Cedar Key could get seriously decimated. Lots of storm surge flooding, lots of damaging wind, just not going to end well. Horseshoe Beach, Swanee area, Steinhatchee in Florida really needs to be aware of this. In fact, let me zoom out so you all can kind of get a better textbook. So because of the big bend here, and I mentioned this earlier, this is like a big bowl, okay, like a cauldron. So when you get your systems that go like along here, the tracks go like this, you're going to pile all of that water into one area. Thank you, Flight Level, for the $5 donation. Thank you, Lisa Wilson, for the $5 donation. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, David, for all you do. I appreciate that, Lisa. Flight Level 240. Any chance this one takes a similar path than Wilma did? Funny enough, I'm not good with history. I am sorry. You guys can call me retarded if you want, but I am not good with history. So hurricane, because it probably formed. Yeah, it did form before I was born. So Hurricane Wilma, let's go to that really quickly. The answer to that is no, it's not. It's not going to likely go that way. But the trends today have shifted eastward, but I think we're going to see something similar, but only to the east of where Michael went. Similar to Adelia, or Adelia. Can't even, I hate saying that name because I can't ever get it right, so I'm sorry. Tongue twister for me, I guess. But yeah, Wilma went over here and then went out. All right, so no, it's not going to be like a Wilma situation, at least. And it did become a Category 3 hurricane just before landfall in Florida. Then became a Cat 2, re-intensified to a Cat 3. But no, we're not seeing a Wilma situation, at least for Florida. Now, for intensity-wise, of course, it might be similar to... I don't think it's going to be as strong as Wilma, because Wilma was a 185. No, not even close to Wilma. I don't think it's going to be that strong at all. Probably barely a Cat 4, if anything. But it doesn't matter if this is a major hurricane or not, okay? A hurricane is a hurricane. Impacts are impacts. And it's good. I don't like hyping things up. This could seriously cause a lot of problems. I'm telling you, folks. All right? If it's a tropical storm, Mark Sedeth really does a good job. Really does a good job at really emphasizing impacts. Impacts are what you need to really be focusing on. Okay? Think about this. Let's think about it this way. And it was 7, right? Or it was 8. It was PTC 8, right? If I gather enough. Remember that thing impacted Wilmington nearly a little more, about a week ago, right? That was not a tropical storm. Technically not, right? It did not earn its name. We all thought it would. And yet, how much rainfall did that bring? I got a couple of people saying it brought like 2 feet of rainfall for them. Gotta get it in your mind. From a PTC, potential tropical cyclone. That was not a Cat 5. And yet, brought 2 feet of rainfall. Carolina Beach, I think it was. Myrtle Beach area. Somewhere down here. Let's see. Sunset Beach. I think it was like Sunset Beach, Seabreeze, this whole area. I think along here just brought formidable amounts of rainfall. We gotta focus on the impacts. And wind is only one of those impacts. Let's just keep that in mind, right? You got wind, you got storm surge, you got rainfall impacts. What else do you got? Okay, so we got storm surge, wind, rainfall. Surf. Surf is another one. Okay. Watch the surf. And, I mean, that's all I got to say. I mean, it doesn't matter if this is going to be a hurricane or not. People think that, oh, this is not as interesting, or I don't want to really pay attention to this system because it's not a major hurricane. If I was in Florida, you bet I would be paying attention to this like it's hot. Not because I'm a weather expert over here. I'm not because I'm a weather enthusiast, because this kind of thing literally kills people. It does kill people. And we have to understand that. We really do. Okay. I mean, people will say, oh, this is going to be moving through fast, David, so the impacts won't last long. If you're telling me that, honestly, try outrunning this yourself. Because personally, fast, slow, maybe slow, or whatever the whole nursery rhyme is, it doesn't matter. Strong or weak, slow or fast, impacts. Impacts. Get that in your mind. Impacts. Should Eastern Georgia be concerned about and monitor closely? Yeah, I would be watching this. I would certainly be watching this. Because if we go back and zoom in, okay, there we go. This is the closest I can zoom in on this. Actually, let me see if the latest GFS, the 0Z, was able to render deeply in. Which, by the way, folks, I want to make it clear here. This is a 114 mile an hour hurricane, still projected on the model. Between about 110 to 115, that is a major hurricane. And so, Eastern Georgia, certainly you could get winds of about 25 to 40 miles an hour. Okay, sustained winds. Now, I did mention this in my video. That winds of 20 to 30 miles an hour could blow down trees and power lines because your wind gusts. All right, so someone kind of made a joke and kind of laughed at me in the video saying, well, you just said 20 to 30 can knock down trees. Well, look at this. Your winds could be about 20 to 30 over here over the eastern half of Florida, but look at these wind gusts over 50 miles an hour. Yeah, 50 mile an hour wind gusts will blow down trees and power lines. You bet there will be impacts with that. Okay. And so that is why, even so you have 20 to 30 mile an hour winds, you could also see wind gusts over 60 to even 65 miles an hour. All right. So wind gusts. Don't forget about wind gusts. Sustained. And I think to make matters even more concerning, the winds here, I believe, in this range are based on 1 hour average winds. So your hourly average wind would be about 25 to 30 miles an hour. But short period, like 10-minute sustained winds could be on the order of about 45 to even 50 miles an hour. Okay, so keep that in mind. Should Charlotte be watching this? Absolutely, yes. Charlotte needs to be watching this, but of course you're safe right now because, well, not safe, but you're not along the coast of Florida. So therefore, this will have time to weaken down to a tropical or a low-grade tropical storm or a high-end tropical depression. But still, the rain is going to be the big issue with this. And you can see here over North Carolina, over South Carolina, 2 to 3 inches of rainfall. All right, Pat would like to join the stream, folks. So let's actually have Pat join the stream. Which actually he is half meteorologist and he's going to school for meteorology. So what's going on, Pat? I am doing good. Actually, I made sure the desktop audio is unmuted. By the way, for those people that are tuning in, this is my friend Pat. Me and him, you were talking about this with me last night, huh, Pat? And unfortunately, your predictions may be coming true. Well, mine, I kind of caught this on a little late, kind of not. But you've been saying that this is going to become perhaps a major hurricane, explosive intensification. What are your thoughts on this?
First of all, can everybody hear me? 1 in the chat if you can hear me. 2 if not. Okay. Okay, I guess my audio's not connected to the stream. It is?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right, it's good. All right, it's good. I just saw it myself. All right. Perfect. All right, let me go ahead and break this.
Really quick before you start, if you guys haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button and share this live stream with their family and friends. And also,
come on, 365 likes. Come on, those are rookie numbers for a channel of David's size.
And also, if you like and subscribe, you get a cookie. You actually get a cookie. No, I'm just kidding.
Bro, turning into Mr. Beast now.
Oh yeah. But also, go check out Pat's Path Predictor's YouTube channel as well. He does a pretty good job. And before you start, I cannot get over your intro. Your intro kills me. It literally does.
Bro, I love this.
I mean, what's going on, weather enthusiasts? It's your host, Pat's Path Predictor. Let's get right into the weather.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Before I get started, though, I do want to shout someone out who's been helping me out for quite a bit. He's a relatively new channel as well. He's been pretty engaged in Storms United. He goes by Weather Kingdom on YouTube. He was in the chat for a little bit. He's been helping me out tonight. I really appreciate all the help he's done, as well as everyone at Storms United who's been covering this as well. So shout out to you. By the way, just wanted to start with that before I got started. But anyway,
I love weather.
Here's what I've been looking at real quickly right here. The thing that I've been mainly watching right here is, okay, what are the synoptic conditions behind it? What's the dynamics behind it? And part of the thing we talked about yesterday and last night with some of the runs was they didn't initialize correctly, and I was taking a look at them, doing a deep dive into them. Well, I obviously know now that they're initializing pretty well, so that's kind of a given at this current point. But I do want to focus and hone in a little bit on I'm going to start. I know we talked about the satellite imagery a little bit on stream earlier, but one thing that I'm noticing, that I'm sure everyone here is as well, is that a lot of this convection, this isn't like the popcorning convection we've been seeing in terms of this, what we've been seeing with this invest, as it was part of the Central American gyre earlier. This has been sustaining for 10 plus hours now. And yes, it has pushed further and further to the east in terms of convection, but that doesn't always mean that's where the center of circulation is. It's somewhere in between all that dry stuff that's going on. There's also a couple of areas convection starting to fire off just off the coast of Honduras and Nicaragua. It's somewhere between those areas and that big burst of convection. And the main question that we have is, okay, where is it right now? Because that's going to be very telling as to where the system's going to go and how far east is this going to end up going. Because we've been talking about this ad nauseum, David, about all the models trending further to the east. Okay, what's driving that? What's driving that stuff? So, in the meantime, so one thing I do want to kind of bring to everyone's attention is we were looking at the GFS runs. I was taking a look at that, and I'm going to be honest with you right here. There's actually a reason. There's actually a reason other than just, the system's strengthening and it's trending further to the east. There's one thing I've been taking a look at that's been kind of helping maybe drive the system further to the east, and that is the kind of influence of a trough that's going to be pushing through, as well as a low pressure system that's going to be moving through the Caribbean. Well, not low pressure system, but that's the hurricane. Cold front, that's going to be moving through the Gulf of Mexico and kind of driving the system further to the east. It's really dependent on the timing of when that trough gets there, as well as the timing of that cold front. David, you remember this analogy from Adalia last year? We got to see if this system gets to first base before the front makes the outs, right? I'm a baseball guy, so you remember that analogy from last year with Adalia, right?
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah, well, it's kind of a similar situation right here. Can this get to first base, in this case being the Florida Panhandle, before the out pushes it to the Big Bend, or even worse, the Tampa Bay region, which is what the icon is showing? And that's ultimately going to be indicative. That's ultimately going to determine and going to be dependent on how fast the trough gets there and how fast the cold front moves through there. And that's the main thing that's been going on right there. And yes, I've been reading the chat. No, this system hasn't exactly formed yet. It's an area of interest. It's an invest. as of right now, but it hasn't developed a low-level center. There has been some mid-level circulation with it right there, but it has not drilled down to the surface and became an LLC. So just want to make that very clear to those in the chat right there. But
And
one thing, well, go ahead.
and explain to the viewers, what is an invest? Why does the NHC designate these as invests before they become a tropical depression, or even as low in a designation or intensity perspective to issue advisories like a PTC? Why does the NHC go invests?
The reason they go for invest is what they look at the probabilities of you look at the probabilities of what the NHC puts out there. You see all the 20, 30, 40, 80, 50% out there. But the reason they designate this an invest is, okay, we have a concentrated area of a development that we need to pay attention to. This looks like it has a reasonable chance to develop. That's when they tag it as an invest, David. And as for PTC, which stands for potential tropical cyclone, that is usually reserved for when a threat to land is imminent and you see a situation where this system is looking like it's going to develop. It has a pretty high likely ability to develop, but because it doesn't have that low-level circulation, even though it has tropical storm force winds and everything like that, they go with the potential tropical cyclone designation, so that way they can issue tropical storm watches and warnings and tell people, hey, these kinds of winds are heading your direction. This hasn't developed yet, but it's going to pretty shortly, and we're tagging this so that way you have ample time to prepare. That's actually the potential tropical cyclone, or PTC edition, is actually relatively recent. It's about it was implemented in around 2016. Just for context for everybody, so this is about 8 years ago right now. So yeah, David is on stream showing the percentages right there as an invest right there. In my personal opinion, I do believe this could reach potential tropical cyclone territory, mainly because of the proximity to land. You have the Yucatan Peninsula to the west, the Cuba to the east. They're going to have to issue tropical storm warnings if they start finding evidence of those winds in there, or they find evidence that this system's about to take off. And even though it hasn't developed an LLC yet, it's about to. Matter of fact, I do have some good news for everybody. For those who have been paying attention, the hurricane hunters are going in tomorrow to investigate the system. The first flight, I believe, is 9:30 in the morning Central Time, 7:30 in the morning Pacific Time, David. So that is some really good news to take a look at and kind of analyze, because I would really like to get that data, get that information right there, just to kind of see what's they're looking at. So,
and it looks like they're gonna send at least 5 aircraft out there. So the first aircraft is, so the fixed time, I believe, is somewhere on C. I wish they would just word it like fixed time than this, instead of putting A through H. Wow. Actually, no, wait. Investigation time is, I think that. So 17:30 Z, which they'll be out there in the late morning, my time, early afternoon. So when I make my next video, well, if I do a video in the morning, I'll probably wait to do one in the afternoon, because when the recon gets out there, and then may pursue a morning video on Tuesday. So Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, do double video, maybe a live stream to see like a prime time live stream, like at say 8 o'clock at night. Got a lot to cover over the next few days. This is going to be a mission for my channel and a mission to track this down.
Yeah, for sure.
But they are going to do, let's see. They're only going to do one mission tomorrow. And yep, only one mission.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about that, mainly because, okay, this is just an invest, but I'm glad they're putting out at least one, because this is a close proximity to land, and I'm really glad that they're doing that. Which, by the way, I know you're talking about streams. I'm also going to be streaming tomorrow night with Storms United, David. So you're more than welcome to come into our stream and talk about this. So just wanted to give you a heads up.
We'll have to see, because if I end up live streaming, I don't know. But then tomorrow night, another plane goes out there at 0530Z. The takeoff time is that time. So, and then they'll be out there probably, you know what, when I do a live stream tomorrow, we will probably be showing the recon data actually. So it's going to be a big one. And then let's see. And then flight 3 will be at 12 Zulu on the 24th of September. So that will be...
That's 7 a.m. my time.
Yeah, that will be Tuesday morning. So 2 planes, NOAA 43, NOAA 49. Actually, one will be upper level, one will be lower level, followed by a Teal 73 mission expected to also fly into the system. So we will have 3 missions going on at once on Tuesday. 1 upper level drops on, that's Gonzo. That's what they're going to be flying at. 2 low level drops on missions. It's going to be a very, very big Tuesday. Now,
it indeed is.
And now let me iterate, or let me kind of talk about our sea surface temperatures for the people that are still watching, because they've been looking at words for a while. So sea surface temperatures are in the upper 80s. We talked about that. And yes, over the Bay of Youth, 89 Fahrenheit. This is really warm. 86 to 88 degrees Fahrenheit. Even along the coast here of Tampa, Florida, in the upper 80s. That is really, really warm. Even if this makes landfall near Panama City, Apalachicola, Florida, our water temperatures are right around 83 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. That is really, really warm. More than warm enough to support a major hurricane, even up until landfall. And it's only the wind shear that will likely lead to at least some weakening. But wow, Pat, water temperatures in the northwestern tip of the Caribbean, 89 Fahrenheit.
Yeah. What I will say in terms of your point about the wind shear, I've been watching it in the Caribbean Sea. Someone's asking about my channel. It's Pat's Path Predictor. So go ahead and check that out if you want to. Just look it up on the search bar. It's Pat's Path Predictor. Pretty simple as that. Go subscribe to it. But anyway, that's besides the point. Someone was just asking that. One thing I will say in terms of the wind shear, David, is I have been looking at the maps and everything like that. And if I have to be honest with you, I don't think at this stage the wind shear is hindering development. Mainly because of the orientation of it. Mainly because of the orientation. I've been looking at it real quickly. I'm taking a look at the analysis that's right here. Yeah, the wind shear in that map you showed isn't the most accurate either. The wind shear is actually further up to the north over Cuba, and it's at an angle where it's helping really enhance the outflow. You've seen on satellite, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've talked to Tristan about this. You've seen a lot of you guys have seen on satellite, especially in my videos, the huge outflow that's really being driven into it right here, thanks to that trough and that ridge over there in the Atlantic Ocean. That's helping enhance the outflow, and that's helping consolidate the system right there, because it's giving it a lot more time and a lot more of a breather. It's giving it a lot more air to breathe for. So that's kind of what's up.
Okay, so someone, sorry to interrupt, Chrisard said shear means tornadoes. No, so let me explain this. So the shear that we're looking at is going across the system. So if you think about your system is moving to the northwest, so you got to think of storm motion. Okay, so let's just say our storm is moving right now at 5 or 10 miles an hour to the northwest. All right, if you get westerly flow, okay, aloft, all right, at about, say, maybe 10 to 15 miles an hour, that is actually going to be a northwesterly shear, because when you think about it, when you're moving a system, you're moving something in throughout the atmosphere, you're getting westerly wind, that's actually going to be a west-north and even perhaps northwesterly wind shear. Actually more like west-northwest westerly. Wait, hold on.
David, you got a $20 donation.
Thank you for the $20 donation from
PRJ Grudge.
PRJ Grudge. Yeah, thank you for that very much. So wind shear is directional change with height, but also it has to do with upper level winds, low level steering as well. That kind of takes that into consideration. All right. So in this case, we are not seeing much wind shear. That what Pat was talking about. Any of the wind shear is outflow based, more than likely, and that's what we're kind of seeing. So that shear ribbon is actually either weakening or moving away from the system as the storm approaches.
Oh yeah.
It. And
oh yeah, that shear is going to lift up. And if you're noticing with the Gulf of Mexico, there's not much wind shear up there right now.
No,
it's not. It's going to be that way as the system surges through there. And one area that I'm really concerned about, and you showed this when you showed the OHC map that I sent you. This system is going all the way through that, going all the way through the Gulf, through the loop currents, all the way through all that 200 plus OHC in the Caribbean Sea. And with everything considered, it takes one bad storm to really tap into that and cause one hell of a problem for a lot of things. You said to keep it PG, David. A lot of PG movies do have a couple of those H words in them. So
yeah,
yeah, like Jim Carrey playing Dr. Robotnik. So anyway, that's besides the point. Anyway, I'm looking at some of the runs real quickly. The halves A and halves B have started to trickle in.
Oh gosh, yes. You know what? I need to show my viewers that. We didn't even do that. Okay.
I'm looking at it right here. And one thing I will say, David, is we're both victims of this, but we both use the 10 millibar winds to get the surface and everything like that, which is all handy dandy when it's out to sea. But when it's right along the coast, it kind of skews quite a bit. David, have you ever wondered why like the winds seem to like completely collapse while they're inland and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Have you ever what?
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because of the change of elevation. 10 meters is not very high above the ground, relatively speaking. So it's not accurately picking up the winds once it heads towards land. But yeah, the halves A is starting to come in, and things and the halves A by 1 p.m. my time tomorrow wants this to get down to a 996 millibar system. Where does this initialize? That's the main question
also,
I have with the halves B.
I want to also show the viewers, because people like my analysis. The H
Oh
wharf.
yeah, sure.
I wanted to show them the H wharf. Did you even see the H wharf yet?
Oh, I saw the 18Z. It was a hard pill to swallow, that's for sure, to see that. But at the same time, it's hard for me to believe that it's going to get down to that level right now. What I want to see is how this will evolve in the next 24 hours. I want to make it clear to the audience, the minimum central pressure on this is 926 millibars. Yeah, I do not believe it's going to get to that at this current point. Yeah, what needs to happen is this needs to get up, in my opinion, to at least 90 miles per hour before it enters the Yucatan Peninsula. Then we can talk about stuff that's strong. But until we see that, and until we see an LLC drop and an LLC drive through, I'm not going to consider that, just because number one, it's a huge outlier, and number three, I'm just not comfortable looking at that unless we have other model support like the HMON, the halves A, the halves B, those runs, as well as the GFS. The GFS only gets us down to the low 940s, just for context, which again, that's still a category 4 hurricane. Definitely is in terms of pressure. But you also have to remember too, Dave, this is a large system. Starts off as a relatively broad system as well. This is supposed to tighten up and consolidate. That's the thing. A lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people don't realize that. So, yeah.
All right,
I'll go ahead and turn to you for a second.
Angelina wants me to hear me talk.
Yeah, go ahead and speak. I've been talking for a while.
Yeah. So thank you for that, Angelina. So yeah, so the H-Wharf model is showing pressure, or is showing winds possibly up to 115 to 120 miles an hour. That's a major hurricane. That's a Cat 3 hurricane. All right. Interesting. It wants a little secondary eye wall on the southwestern side, but yeah, definitely a formidable wind maximum that does try to show up here. Looking at our H-Mon model, let's go to that. This also shows a 100 and wow. Okay, H-Mon, you want a 130 mile an hour system, a 130 mile an hour system, and then yeah, that would be right kind of where the GFS has us making landfall. And boy, Tampa Bay, oh my, Tampa Bay could have winds of 50 to 70 miles an hour with wind gusts. Let's see the wind gusts. Oh, we don't get the wind gusts because that's just that type of model. But it is showing, but we would only have to look. We got to look at the halves A, which is now beginning to render. Yes, this model is beginning to render, and I have to say, Pat, it has a little mini inner core. We'll see if that is the primary one, but has a inner core structure forming in about 6 to 12 hours, which is concerning. So
to be honest with you, I'm not surprised. I would not be shocked if that were to happen.
Yeah. But so we are going to be watching the 0Z, A, halves B. All of our hurricane models are now beginning to render. Okay, we looked at the icon, we looked at the Canadian model, we looked at the GFS, and now we're moving on to looking at our hurricane models. And actually, let me see the APHIS. I call it the APHIS.
The European AI model?
Yeah, I that's just how I word it, and I hope it's fine with people. It's probably not the most accurate. Fine. I call it the APHIS. So, the APHIS model, let's see, wants this at 52 to 55 miles an hour, but of course it's not high resolution. So we have to keep that in mind. Not very high res at all. So you got to add a lot more wind. And that's why we got to look at what our hurricane modeling, our hurricane models, which tell us how strong this is exactly going to get. And we're getting those in right now as we speak. Right now, in real time. And, oh yeah, this thing is wrapping up very quickly, Pat. 09Z wants winds of about 35 to 45 miles an hour.
On the halves A, I wouldn't put too much stock in the winds, and I would put more stock in the consolidation in the organization of it.
That's what I'm putting. Yeah, it has uptrended in this model run, because if we look at the 18Z run, it was only at about 1,000 to 1,003. Now it's down to 990, about 990,
996,
997, 998, kind of smoothing it out a little bit.
Yeah. One thing we need to take into account is the models that we're using already think this system has developed an LLC and is ready to go. That's not the case. So that might be skewing the results of that run a little bit. I will say that, but at the same time, I would not be surprised if we saw a sub-1,000 millibar system in the next 12 to 18 hours.
You know what, though? You know what? I need you to look at something.
What do you need?
Okay. So look at where that deep pocket of convection is. Right here. Look at where that deep... Right here. Look at infrared. Okay?
I'm looking at...
It's right kind of on the line of Honduras area. So if you drag the line across to that deep area of convection and you skew it over to... Let's see. Oh my gosh. Did I close... No, I didn't. You skew it over it almost matches where that area of consolidation might be happening. Remember, convection is convergence. There's convergence at the surface. You're lifting that air up and you're getting convection. So I'm wondering if we're beginning to see that shape up right here. All that deep convection. I'm thinking that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I'm seeing a noticeable increase of convection more towards off the coast of Honduras as well. Yeah, I'm seeing a noticeable increase of that over there. That's going to be interesting to see how this whole system pans out, because there's a huge blob of convection to the east, into the east over here. I do think it's interesting, but it's getting further and further away from the supposed center, unless the LLC drops over there.
No,
Hold
it's not.
on. Where do you think it's going?
I think the center. I found the center. I found where the center is. I see it. I see it, Pat. I see it.
Where do you see it?
Right here. Right where I'm circling. That's where I think the center is. Actually, to be more exact, I think it's right over here is where I see it. Yup, that's where it is. That's where the center is.
All right, hold on. Okay. All right, could you circle that? Could you circle that again? Again for me, real quickly.
I think it might be right here.
All right, that's fine. One thing I will. Okay, thanks. All right. Let me go do this.
All
right,
scroll through.
I want to, because what I'm doing with that is I'm taking a look at it on my end, and I want to get a second opinion on this very quickly, because if that's the case, then we might have a problem on our hand.
Yeah. We gotta really... I'm gonna see if there's ASCAT data to confirm that, though.
Yeah, same.
Because there looks like there's something popping up over there.
All right, because I'm just asking for a second opinion real quickly, because if that's the case, that could be pretty interesting. There definitely a burst of convection over here. The main question is this going to be the taking over? Is this going to be the main system, the main one right here, or is it going to be further to the east?
Golly word, we did not get ASCAT over that area. It missed this. How did it miss? It missed that whole system. Yeah, I can't. There's no data. There's no data to see.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah.
So it's very... I know something is right where that matches exactly up.
I'm looking at it still. Okay, yeah, we're definitely seeing an increase of convection over here. I'd wait till tomorrow morning, to be honest. I'd wait till tomorrow morning.
Man, this really strengthened on the 0Z run though, Pat, on the halves A. It was at 999 millibars at 11 a.m. on Monday, my time, and now it's down to 993 in this run. We will see. We'll see. But it is important. We use these hurricane models. We have to rely on these too, because our global models don't see it as well. That's why the Hurricane Center runs these. Not wishing for the worst.
If it gets down to 993, actually at 7 p.m. tomorrow, 5 p.m. your time, Halves A's coming out. That's down to 991.
Wow.
If that's the case, then, okay, this is 991. I think the GFS, let me look at the 24-hour, 999. Okay. If that's the case, then we might have a situation where this system develops much faster than anticipated. Heck, this might
Also,
even be established over the Caribbean. Go ahead.
Also, it's further to the southwest of the Grand Cayman as well, the main island. It's further than the GFS. This is why we use these models, people. That's why we use these, because this is high resolution. This is what we need. These models, these hurricane models, because this tells us what exactly may happen based on the high res. Versus the GFS is not as high res. It is relatively high res compared to other global models, but still, it's not a meso model. It is not. That does have some strong wind gusts of over 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, I don't take too much stock into the winds, like I said.
No.
I'm mainly looking at the consolidation because those are 10-meter winds and they're sometimes not accurately reflected on on these hurricane models. I mean, they look nice and all that, but okay, halves B. Okay, halves B. Here's the 18C.
Let's see the H wharf. Okay, H
I don't
wharf
think
and H. They're not rendering yet.
Yeah, they're not out yet. Oh, the HMON is. HMON's starting to. We're out to 9 hours, though. So, take of it as you will. But we're down to 1,001 millibars on that.
Out to 9 hours. 1,000 what? 1?
Yeah, 1,001.
So that's about as strong. That's a little stronger than the halves B.
Yeah.
Because the halves B has it only down to about 1,002, 1,003.
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay, so this is, by the way, this is the Yucatan Peninsula, Yucatan Channel right here. Here is the Island of Youth. Here is Western Cuba way up here. So we can see there's the Cayman Island. There are the sister islands, I call them.
All right. Okay, I just got a question. Does the ASCAT pass help with anything with seeing center? It helps us determine if there's a low-level center or not. So, yes.
Yeah, ASCAT data is important, and we did not get that. It did not capture it. It did not, it missed the system. So we gotta.
Yeah. We gotta wait for another pass.
Oh, Navy model. Someone told me to look at the Navy model. That did not render yet. This is actually, this did not render. I don't know what's going on with it.
I'm gonna see what other 0Z runs are initializing. Okay.
Here, really quick, Pat. Talk about a not so high resolution model. That's not so high resolution right there.
Which model is that?
The Japanese meteorological analysis.
The JMA. Yeah. I don't use that.
I know.
I don't really use that. But I do want to bring up something. People are asking about the timing. Right now, it looks like it's going to be hitting around Thursday night right now, Thursday evening. From what I'm gathering.
And listen, I will miss church over this because literally, I can miss small group one Thursday. I haven't missed a day in a long time, so it's not like a big deal.
Yeah.
You know what model I'm going to use, and I don't recommend anyone to use it? The Korean model, or Korea. It's called the Korea model. That's coming out, and that has it at 999 millibars in 36 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to also look at that and keep an eye on it.
Yeah. I want to bring up something about Tampa Bay very quickly.
Yep, go ahead.
Because I know a lot of people here are from the region. First of all, who here? First of all, if you're from Tampa Bay, who in here are Rays fans, or who in here are Bucks fans? Just out of curiosity. First of all, second of all, I'd like to bring up something right here. I know Tampa Bay. We all say, oh, we're looking at potentially a hurricane heading over there, and then it misses and hits the Big Bend like Idalia, heads further south like Ian, heads towards the Panhandle like Michael, heads further south because it hit Cuba like Irma did in 2017. If you're in Tampa Bay, you're going to get some sort of impact from this, regardless whether it's tropical storm or hurricane impacts. You're going to get some sort of impacts, and because the hurricane is going to, or the system's going to be in the Gulf of Mexico, it's going to be pushing the water inward, and Tampa Bay is going to get a pretty nasty storm surge from this, regardless of how strong the winds are. So if you're in the Tampa Bay region, you need to start preparing for this. Defer to local officials, contact them, say, hey, the system's on the way. How can we prepare? Go grocery shopping, do all what you need to do to start preparing. If you haven't done it tonight, I do it start first thing in the morning. If not just if you're in Tampa Bay, but if you are in the Panhandle, you need to prepare for this. If you're in the Big Bend, you need to prepare for this. If you're in southern Georgia, Greg, I know you're in Savannah. I'm not sure what the impacts are going to be. It's going to depend on where the system ultimately goes, but you're going to want to prepare for this because this will likely be a hurricane when it enters Georgia. I'm just pointing that out based on every day.
I don't think it's going to be a high-end tropical storm app.
No, it's considering the distance between the Panhandle and Big Bend to the Florida-Georgia border, it's going to have plenty of time to maintain that strength.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
Wow.
It definitely is.
That's significant then, that it could be a hurricane still in the southernmost portion or southwesternmost portion of Georgia. By the way, Pat, that deep convection off the coast of Honduras is definitely expanding a little bit.
Yeah, I've noticed that, but I'm noticing that. I want to see if that's going to be ultimately do something instead of be one of those things that dies off. Also noticing the -80 band is not there anymore. It's warmed up to about -70, but still, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And the reason I said, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we have 45 or so minutes before the NHC, maybe a little sooner, before the NHC does their Outlook update. So I'm really wondering, and we will be there for that. We are going to be here for another hour at least. I'm more interested.
Yeah, I need to get off pretty soon, but you go ahead.
Yeah, but we're going to have to see if this goes up, and the chances on this go up as well. These two areas.
I'm looking at this right now. They're either going to hold at 50-80 or bump it up to 60-80. It's going to be one of those two.
They're not going to go up to 90?
I don't think they are. And the reason I don't think they are is because I'm looking at the satellite imagery. Yes, there's a huge, massive convection to the east of it, but at the same time, it's pushing further and further to the east, and I don't think that's where the center generally is. I think it's somewhere in between the coast of Honduras and there. I just don't know where. I think they're going to be conservative given the satellite imagery and hold at either 50-80 or 60-80, at least for the time being. 7 a.m., we can decide what's going on. From there. But what I will tell you is I am impressed with this system. It's had deep convection sustaining through diurnal minimum, and now with diurnal max and the sun out of the way, we're going to see how this thing will play out to the fullest extent.
Yeah, certainly.
So that's what I'm saying on that.
By the way, how's everybody doing tonight? I hope you're enjoying your fall. First day of fall. 3 more months before it's winter. Actually, just, yeah, about a month. 3 months. 3 months.
Yeah. Well,
by the way, Greg D, how's it going? Thanks for giving me some feedback and stuff. You are great. And it's always awesome that someone that actually does EMS stuff, emergency evacuational kind of stuff, pretty stinking cool. Aero Force. Oh, Aero Force is rendering. Nice.
What's rendering?
The Aero Force model.
All right.
So once he's done rendering, we'll see on what he shows.
Okay, the H-Wharf is starting to render.
Oh, nice. Let's see the H-Wharf.
7 a.m. it's down to 1,002. That's the pressure. But the organization on it, at least in terms of the radar, is pretty good. Disregard the MC. Let's see.
That halves A though is the leader right now. It's furthest ahead, so I'm gonna look at that first. By the way, if you guys are liking the stream, please hit the like button. We are almost up to 500 likes, so thank you all for the support. Donations.
Okay, the half A is a 985 millibar system at 30 hours out.
What is it?
985.
On what? Halves B?
Halves A.
Oh, so I thought I was on the halves A.
Halves B is 993.
Dang, you're ahead of me. I think I'm going to have to just use this. Yeah, I think, 985 it's at. Wow.
I'm curious about the halves B, though. I'm curious about that, because that's making a significant jog to the west. By the way, don't use the infrared satellite simulated. It's gonna hurt everyone's brain. I will tell you that.
Dang, why is it going further west? It is 12 it's 11 millibars deeper. 11 millibars deeper.
I think part of it is there's a tropical system that's currently in the Eastern Pacific. Tropical Depression 10E. I think that's going to, because of the Fujiwara effect, these are two relatively similar systems in terms of strength. It's going to kind of drag the system a bit to the west and then slingshot it up to the north. And considering that there's a ridge building up over the central United States, I think, at least for right now, the Panhandle is the most likely target. Where I'd say the system would go, is around the Apalachicola Bay region. I'm not buying the eastward shift too much just yet, but I am noticing it. And as of right now, I do think the Big Bend is seeing an increase of probability of getting hit by this system. That's what I will say. When will we have a guaranteed knowledge on the impact? We're not even sure. We're not even sure.
Also, I just realized this is down to 981 millibars. Well, that's a frame before, so that's at 27 hours, and it just...
Oh, the halves A is at 48 hours out. Oh, wow. It gets down to 967 in the next 48 hours.
You're spoiling me. Don't spoil.
David.
I know.
Come on.
So,
okay, the H4.
What was that? Halves A or halves B?
Halves A.
Why? How? What? Okay, yep. It just updated.
967, guys.
That is... Oh,
and that's before the Yucatan.
That's... Okay, it goes from 985 millibars on the 18Z run to 967 on this run, and it is a little further south. Oh, man, dude.
and you can already see it's starting to slingshot to the north through the Yucatan Strait.
It is almost 20 millibars deeper, and it is further south, so it's a little slower. Shoot. Yes, it's further south because look at... Hold on, Pat. Hold on.
Mhm.
So here is the Yucatan Peninsula. Here is Western Cuba. Here's the Island of Youth.
Yeah.
That's the 18Z run. 0Z run. Look at where the Yucatan is now in relation to where it was. Were my outlines. So it's further south.
Yep. That's... I know the 10-meter winds say differently, but that's a Category 2 hurricane. Already.
Well, you got to think about the pressure gradient as well. The gradient.
The pressure gradient's pretty... the pressure gradient, especially around the core, is pretty tight. It's still a little broad. It's still a little broad, but that definitely supports. That's easily supports Category 2 strength right there. That easily does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the pressure gradient force really. Yeah, it's definitely there.
It's gonna push north quicker. Adam Sawyer said, if it's a Cat 2 that early, it's gonna push north quicker.
I can see it. I definitely can see it. It's one of those slingshot effects where it just surges up to the north.
Oh, Havsby is at 964 millibars, crossing over the Yucatan Channel with winds of about 75 knots.
That's why I don't use the 10-meter winds.
I know,
Mainly
but the pressure, okay, the pressure's there.
Yeah, the gradient gets really tight.
I'm gonna stick to the wind force because I'm gonna say what I'm seeing because it's a hurricane model.
I understand that, but the 10-meter winds aren't always the most accurate, and a lot of it is due to just the proximity, because especially in this case, the proximity to land. Like a lot of areas just inland of the Yucatan Peninsula in Cuba are higher than 10 meters. So,
oh yeah,
just wanted to put that in consideration. But 964, two more frames. Okay, you're gonna want to take a look at this stuff. We're getting to the juicy stuff now.
Uh-oh. What frame number?
63.
On halves A?
Halves B.
Oh.
We're getting to the juicy stuff now.
Oh, 957. 957. Yep. Whoa. 984 on the 18Z run. Now it's 957 on this run. 957 on this run. That is...
The 0Z runs really ramp this up. And look at the core on satellite imagery. I'm also going to take a look at infrared. Okay, I do not want to look at the cross sections.
Also, one other thing, too. One other thing. Winds on this are about 95 knots. 95 to 100 knots. So that's close to major hurricane intensity.
Yeah. The winds definitely seem to have lagged behind a little bit. Not a lot, and they're catching up to the model, but just a little bit. It's interesting, though. But regardless of that,
this is wow. Let me see what the rainfall reflectivity looks like. Wow, look at that. That is a closed off eye wall almost on the southern side. Not completely closed, but it's getting there.
What a core.
Wow. And this is the worst case scenario because there's no land interaction at all. Versus the other...
Until it gets to Florida.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, man.
Okay, the HWRF now goes 24 hours out. Even the HWRF's uptrended a little bit.
By 4 millibars, yeah.
Hmm.
All of the models have
HMON is trying to
uptrended.
come out.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. HMON is already coming out, and it's...
989.
Yup, it's also uptrended. It has uptrended.
Okay, the Halves A is really ramping up.
Oh, you got the... Oh, did you get the halves A in? Any new friends?
No, the Halves A is still the same, but I'm just looking at this. I'm like, yeah, that's an 18 millibar difference.
Yeah. Oh, you're leaving Grade D? You don't want to watch the hurricane models come in? I know it is late, you all.
It's getting late.
700 people, but 700 people watching this late, that's incredible. So,
Yeah.
I'm sorry
It
you
is.
guys have to stay up late, but these should be done by 11. And if they're not, and that's fine. But we are going to be live here until we get the new NHC update. We're getting the new European model here in about 15 minutes. That will start rendering in about 10:25. So in about 10 minutes, the Euro will start rendering.
Yeah. All right. You have fun with that, David. I'm going to go ahead and go to bed now because I have an early-ish morning tomorrow. So I'll definitely be heading out. You have fun with your stream. Thanks for having me on. Everybody tuning in from home, just remember, you got to keep an eye on the system, wait for more information, start preparing, go to the grocery store, do what you need to do. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you want to check me out, my channel is Pat's Path Predictor. You just go ahead and search it up, or it's Pat's Path It's Pat's Path Predictor. Go ahead and go and subscribe to my channel. I'd be much appreciated. I'll be streaming tomorrow night with Storms United. We're gonna have a full house there. We're gonna see a bunch of analysis. So yeah, thank you very much. Have a wonderful night. And with that being said, stay safe, guys.
Thanks for tuning in. All right, so we will be live until about 11 o'clock because I have to get to bed tonight for school tomorrow. Yes, I have school, and I may have to get up a little early to get out a morning video. So yeah, thank you, Pat. Oh, I got a little surprise. Let's do this. Pat, I have a surprise. Take a look. So we're going to watch our models, our halves A, halves B, and a few other hurricane models to come in while we are waiting for the Euro. Let's look at the halves A right now. The halves A has not rendered any more frames. So we're going to wait, though. We're going to see how strong this could end up getting. All right. What's up, Jay Bone? Or Jay Boone? How are you doing? Thank you, Chaz. I accepted your friend request on Discord, by the way, Chaz. Oh, you meant to say see you? Okay, now I understand. What's up, Lucy? Or Lacey? I think it's Lacey. So, Lacey, I did promise you. If you type again, you'll see something special. So, if you guys are just tuning in, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are going to be waiting for our halves B, halves A to finish rendering. Well, not wait until it's completely done, because I probably will not. I don't know how long this is going to render for, probably until 11. If it does, then good. We'll be able to show it to you briefly, but my goal is to be in bed by 11 o'clock tonight. Because if I have to wake up early in the morning to make a video, I'll have to be up at least by about 7 in the morning. 7 in the morning. Because if we'll see. The plane is going to be in there. Actually, you know what? No. Did I promise I'm not going to make a video in the morning? That's because the hurricane hunters are not going to be out tomorrow early morning. So tomorrow will just be an afternoon video followed by a live stream on the 0Z runs again. We'll do the same thing. Video, live. And then Tuesday, video, live. So it's going to be 3 content updates on Tuesday. Because that's when we'll get our morning recon data in, because they'll be out there investigating. And then that will be to cover that, of course. And then the afternoon video will be kind of the same thing to get some latest updates. And then, of course, to do the live stream at about 8 o'clock to see our 0Z runs. And that would be for Wednesday. Oh, no, Tuesday. My bad. But I'm still live here. I'm in California, Lucy P. Sunnyside, California. 9:27. I might as well not talk. I'm just not going to talk. You're kidding me. You're kidding me. I'm not, I don't. I thought someone was joking. I thought someone was joking when they said that, oh, it just updated. Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow. That is strong, dude. Wow. Look at that uptrend. Look at that uptrend. So, on the 18Z model run, 973 millibars. On the 18Z run, not so much on this run. That's 930 millibars. 930 millibars in 3 days. Whoa, dude. Wow. Freaking moly. This is not good. This is not. This is a Cat 4 hurricane in 3 days. You gotta be kidding me. Pat, come on. Join back in the call. Come on. Join on back. Yep, he called me. He called me again.
We got a problem.
Yes, we do. We do.
All right. Yeah, we got a big issue. I'm only going to be on here for a few minutes, but seeing these latest frames,
wow.
all I got is
Habs A has us down in 943 millibars.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm checking. Okay.
Crap. Oh my goodness. Everyone told you thank you for joining back.
I appreciate that. Every single run, as this is heading into the Gulf of Mexico, is down to 950.
On all of
At
the
least.
hurricane models.
Except for the H-Wharf because it's not out yet that far. But it's not lagging too far behind.
Holy moly. This is... Oh my gosh. They might push it up to 90%.
Well, now that we have the model data,
Shoot, dude. This is why I want to let everyone know, since they're still here, that this is why we use hurricane models. But wait, I thought the GFS didn't show a major hurricane at this point. It doesn't matter because that's not a high-res model. See, the thing is, we have to use these models, hurricane models, because at that same time, actually, GFS has it down to 967 in 66 hours. But look at as low as 930 millibars. Oh, we're down to 9. It drops 5 millibars on the HMON, down to 946, still strengthening, 105 knots, Pat. So we're at 120 miles an hour. We're at
946 millibars. Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
HMON, let me see the HMON. Oh, no, that I was just on the HMON. Actually, yeah, the H-Wharf is actually further southwest. Still the same intensity based on the central pressure. Let's see the halves A again. Pat, we're down to 936 millibars. On the
I see it. Oh, I see it.
Oh my gosh, Pat!
What?
914.
For what?
Look at it now.
You've got, okay. You've got to be kidding me. David, I'm going, hold on. Let me send this to Storms United real quick.
Oh my gosh. Dude. There's no way. That's a Cat 5 hurricane. 138 knots. 138 knots.
Literally the second run of the halves B for the system.
Oh, golly word.
Now we got to remember that this obviously is not set in stone, but
no.
Good Lord, look at that core. Good Lord. Check radar and main sea level pressure.
Oh, I don't even want to look.
Good Lord.
You want to know the low level winds on this? 180 knots.
Wait.
176 to 180 knots. 850
That's at 850
millibars.
though.
Yeah,
that's at 850 though.
Yeah, low level winds, 850 millibars.
Okay, this is a bit unrealistic. I got it. I'm not going to be the first person to say this, but this seems a bit unrealistic.
I definitely believe that it's way overboard. I honestly think if this continues, now you bet if this continues over the next 4 runs, we have a big problem. I
remember seeing Hurricane Lee. We first saw this and we were like, this seems a bit unrealistic, but considering where it's heading, we'd pay attention to it. Then the next run came, got even worse. Then the next run came, held. Next rain came, held. Next run came, made it even worse. Man. But I will tell you this. Go ahead.
I want to make it clear, this is not a guarantee solidified forecast. I want you all to understand this. This is not a solidified forecast. This does not mean we will have a Cat 4 or Cat 5 hurricane. This does not mean anything like that. But what this means is the background environment. By the way, we're down to 911 millibars. Pat?
We're 911.
Yeah. But I wanted to make it before
the pressure rose a little bit as it approached land. It's up to 914 now.
Yeah. But still, that's Cat 5 hurricane intensity. But this does not mean...
It gets up to 165.
That's bad. But hold on, Pat. Let me...
Sure.
Okay. This does not mean it will do this. I want to make it clear. The background environment, I mean, this is why, you guys, this is exactly why we use these models. I've said that 3 or 4 times tonight. We use these models because the GFS is not as high resolution. Look at how high resolution that is. This is why we use the hurricane models, because it uses the atmospheric conditions at a more high resolution level, and then it forecasts that. So the fact that the halves B, let's see the halves A, is showing this.
H month's down to 932, by the way.
Oh my gosh. So the halves A is down to 935 millibars. So everything has uptrended on this. The H-Wharf, let's see the H-Wharf. The H-Wharf is down by 3 more millibars from where it was.
We're down to 973. Yeah.
So all the models 0Z, unfortunately, including even the GFS by maybe plus or minus 1 millibar, has technically intensified this a little bit. So this is what I'm telling you all. This is what I'm telling you all. Look at
okay.
No, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on, Pat. Okay.
That's fine.
I know. Yeah. Look at the upper ocean heat content. This is probably why, more than likely why, there's that rapid intensification. And I also wanted to show you guys something too. Then we'll get back to our hurricane models. Okay, promise? Let's promise that, okay? I wanted to show you all the hurricane potential in the Gulf. Take note of that. All that blue is Category 5 force winds. Category 5 all the way up until landfall, theoretically. That's why we... this is not that important, but it illustrates that sea surface temperatures, the upper ocean heat content is conducive, tied to very high upper ocean heat content. So if you get a system going this way and it turns this way, it's going to be moving all throughout all that upper ocean heat content, this loop current. So in theory, is this an outlier? For right now it is, because it is the first run that it has uptrended. If it holds, that's what Pat was saying. If it could hold, we have a big problem. Does it hold in the next run? I don't know. We don't know. But I'll tell you, the halves A and the halves B have done quite well. They did pretty good with Francine, haven't they, Pat?
They did well with Francine, relatively speaking.
So it is concerning to see this. And by the way, that is a 145 knot system. That is straight up a Category 5 hurricane, without a doubt. Low-level winds up to as high as almost 180 knots at 5,000 feet. Those come down in wind gusts throughout this eye wall. So this, oh man, dude, this... I don't want to say this because it's too far out in time yet. Okay, we got to understand that. But boy, if this verifies, this is going to be... I don't want to even say the words because I don't want people to call me out like, oh, now you're going too far. Let's just say it will not end well at all. This will not end well. It isn't. And that's why we use these models, because right now I'm giving you the head warning that, oh, our hurricane models are seeing something. Now, what does the European model show? Let's look at the European model, which is a global model. We'll go back to our hurricane models, but we got to include every model into this. That you all like that. You all like when I include every model into my weather videos. I will continue doing that. So let's see what the winds are like. The European comparatively from the 12Z to the 0Z, has uptrended a little bit.
The H-Wharf?
No, the European ECMWF.
Yeah.
So this is why we got to look at hurricane models. Okay, I got some serious news to share with you, Pat. This could make landfall. Potential. This is not the actual air pressure. Potential pressure as low as 910 millibars at landfall. At landfall over Indian Pass, St. George, Apalachicola, Florida. 910 millibars, as low as 910. And winds up to 140 knots.
As the halves B and run.
Yeah. Also,
I
hurricane, by the way, look at the hurricane force winds onshore, though. Look at that.
Yep, I see him.
75
But
knots.
remember, these are 10 millibar winds, and a lot of these areas are taller or higher than 10 millibars.
Or 10 meters.
10 meters, sorry. 10 meters, thank you.
I understand, Pat. Okay, but it's I'm gonna iterate on what I see. Okay. And right now it is showing it's showing hurricane force winds into southwestern Georgia in 93 hours. This would make landfall by Thursday late morning, early afternoon, by the way. Late
I can see it.
Yeah, Thursday late morning, like 11 my time, or as early as like 1 or 2 o'clock. On this particular run, and it's been consistent at that. So, man, this is not good at all. Woo! You bet this is going to be... actually, I'm going to make a Twitter post on that. And I'm
way ahead of you.
And I'm just gonna say, that's all I'm gonna say, not any words or context.
Yeah. But one thing I will say, and I'm sure you noticed this too, this shoots straight to the north. It doesn't go east or anything like that. The half speed doesn't. It doesn't do any of that.
All right. Also,
that's what strong systems tend to do.
Yeah, also, H-Wharf has this down to 965 in hurricane force winds just before it crosses the Yucatan Channel.
Yeah. Every single run.
Every single run. Including the H-Bond has this down at 927 millibars with Category 4 force winds.
Wait, the
H-Bond.
Yeah, the H-Bond does.
Yeah. Every run, including the halves A, also has Category 4 force winds in this output. Oh, man. This is...
Yeah.
Get ready, folks. I'm going to have to post this out. So I included the halves A. No, wait. Yes. Oh, no. Halves
The fact that all of these runs uptrended is interesting.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. Well, we'll see what the NHC decides to do. Because these are some pretty concerning returns that we're getting.
Man, this is... By the way, I did post that on Twitter. If you guys on YouTube want to go check that out. Man. Yeah, be sure to check it out.
Yeah. What I will say...
By the way, here it is. Here's the URL to that, my Twitter, by the way. X.com at this point. It's not Twitter anymore. It's X. I should call it just X.
Yeah.
So this is currently rendering.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, you all, I am very active on Twitter. I think most of you all know that I'm really active on there. So if I'm not on YouTube, I'm also on Twitter. Okay, this is down, Pat, to 925 millibars at landfall on the halves A, on Thursday, exactly the same time like the halves be.
Yeah. Also, just for those in the chat, my Twitter's in there as well. Just if you want to take a look at it. You don't have to, but you can if you want to. I'm mainly on YouTube anyway.
So we are in range, by the way. High in Cat 4 on the halves A and Cat 5 on the halves B. HMON, let's see the HMON. Oh, you would not believe this, Pat. You would not believe this.
What's going on?
Don't look at the HMON. I want you to guess. I want you to guess on how low the pressure is. No one say anything in the chat about how low the pressure is. I want Pat to guess. Guess
925, 920.
911 millibars.
The HMON?
Yes, the HMON. About 911, 912-ish with winds
What
of
kind
about,
of models are these? What kind of stuff are these models on? Okay. Let's see what the H-Wharf says. Hopefully that comes out.
and low level 850 millibar winds, 161 knots on the HMON.
Yeah.
That's a category 5 at that level. Surface winds really close to category 5.
They definitely are getting close to that. The H-Wharf continues to rapidly escalate as well. Let's see. 951 at 60 hours.
950.
And it's a major hurricane by the time it crosses the Yucatan Strait.
Shoot. So that is really in line with the halves A and halves B, which all show it in the middle of the Yucatan channel. That's remarkable. That is remarkable. Not consistency, but positioning. There's no difference. There's anywhere between here to about here in this narrow corridor is where we have most of our models. And this is down in 951 millibars. Wow.
I'm looking at satellite imagery real quickly, David, just because I want to see what the latest is and kind of see how this accurately reflects that. Okay. Looking at that right now. Oh, yeah, there's definitely some convection firing up near that one area you were talking to me about. There's a couple bursts of it now, actually. But overall, it's been holding its own.
Yeah. See what people have said.
I kind of want to look at Twitter and see what everyone's saying.
Only 2 people have already... It's got already 150 views already, so and 7 likes, so thank you all. And also 2 reposts. So. Wow, dude. It was just like a hammerhead on these models. Boom. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
And again, 93 hours out on this. This is not no fantasy land. Oh my gosh. Pat?
What's going on?
908.9 millibars.
For what?
HMON. Over near Tampa. Near Tampa.
Okay, that's... Okay, okay. What are these... Okay, what kind of drugs are these things on? Like, this wants the eyeball to get near St. Pete. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, that's... No.
Actually, the eyeball is over St. Pete.
I'm sorry, no. Yeah. Hell no. That's not happening.
Please refrain language. I appreciate.
You said PG, right? There's a couple of those kinds of words, so...
If no one has an issue with it, I mean... Not...
Okay, one in the chat if you're offended by me saying that. 2, if not. I will tell.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, David, one of my favorite actors is Jim Carrey, so yeah.
So 2. A lot of people say 2.
Yeah.
What's up,
Okay.
Bill
Some
Adams?
people are not that excited about that. I understand. I get that. But yeah, the H wharf is at 9:38, by the way.
9:38.
Yes, sir.
Oh my! Not as strong as the last run though. Wait, what?
Hold up. At that level, no, we're at 66 hours out. Oh yeah, never mind. It is a little weaker, but
It's also
the core.
but
It's a lot better.
Yeah, the core's a little bit bigger and better, and it's further southwest. So in relative sense, it's about a millibar weaker, and that's about it. Still showing. So all the models at this point in 66 hours do show a major hurricane. That's very concerning. 66 hours out. Wow. That really takes off.
You're telling me. Is there some sort of zero-Z bias or something that I don't know about? Anyway, I'm definitely going to be... Anyway, to everyone in chat, I'll be talking about this tomorrow. So, tomorrow, so...
I can't. When I speed type, I typo myself.
That's my YouTube link. Go subscribe. But anyway, I'm hearing from your lawyer. What? Okay, cool. But anyway, the way I see it, and I'm sure that the way a lot of people see it as well, is that this is not. This is optimally.
Shoot, dude.
What's up?
Who just posted that on Twitter?
What?
Did someone really have the guts to post that?
I'll take a look real quick.
No, I'm just trying. No, it's not in comments. There was a satellite imagery of a Cat 5 hurricane. Simulated satellite imagery. Someone really just... Wow. That is freaking scary. Actually, you know what? Why not? I'll post it.
David, I would refrain from doing that for now. Let's wait for more consistent runs with this beforehand. It's kind of fun to see the hurricane runs in the heat of the moment, but let's refrain.
I just want to see it really quickly. I want to see it for myself. I'm just looking through. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. Well, forget about not forget about this. Don't forget about Debbie, of course, or Francine, but in the
David, we got an update from the NHC. You were right. 70-90. You were right.
That proves to you, folks.
That's a classic David W.
Classic David W. Now you guys can be like, oh, we gotta just shut our mouth.
Yeah, also classic PMW as well.
Yeah. Both. Wow. Wait, both are high? Oh, it is. Yeah, 70. Yeah. Wow.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm sure you're probably not going to see this.
I really like their description. I just want to read this. This is hilarious.
I'm sure your stream's not going to see this, but I'm putting face cam on the Discord call, but just to show you my reaction at this current point.
Let me see.
Wow. Yeah. You get to see my ugly face.
Yeah, here it is. The path predictor right there. Say hello.
That's me. Yes, I am in complete shock right now.
But I wanted to read this. I really wanted to read this.
Go
Now,
ahead. Go
just
ahead.
and
Go ahead and take the stream off of my face if you want
yeah,
to.
I did. Also,
Go ahead.
since I got this right, not to have my ego here, since I predicted this before the NHC, hit the subscribe button right now. You guys got to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share this with your family and friends. And never forget to hit the bell icon to help the YouTube algorithm out at pushing this video to a larger audience, because YouTube sends out those notifications to all subscribers. Well, not all, but most. But I wanted not to laugh at the NHC in a terrible way. I mean,
No.
regardless of development, well, of course, it's not 100%.
They have to say that.
Yeah, they have to. Regardless of development, this system is expected to produce heavy rains over portions of the Central America during the next several days. Actually, we need to read the top paragraph. Are showing signs of organization with the broad area of low pressure located over the northwestern Caribbean Sea. Environmental conditions appear pretty favorable for further development of this system, and a tropical depression or storm is likely to form over the next couple of days as the system moves northward. And guess what? In 2 days, Pat, look what we got. Tropical storm on all of the models.
Yep.
So this could validate that. So back to that. Let's see. Regardless of development, of course, you need right here, northeastern Gulf Coast needs to closely monitor the progress of this system. Again, 70, 90%. 90% is very high. There's like a 10% chance that this does not form, which also, by the way, we have two cherries on the map. The one off of Africa also has a 70%. But again, that is a nothing burger. That's going to go this way and out to sea, most likely, for the time being. As far as
still watch it, though, because that could be a pretty big ace maker, and you know Tristan likes those.
Well, yeah, but if it's not in... Well, ace... Well, it's going to be out to sea, which is good, but, I mean, I do count it in some degree, though. I do. But otherwise... out to sea, most likely, and then another wave off of Africa. We are going to have to watch that. We really are going to need to. Actually, until I see the 0Z run, let me see the 0Z GFS. It does have a tropical wave going into the Caribbean. It does have that.
That's the next wave coming off.
Yes, that's the next wave coming off. And then another system behind that comes off. So we have this one, and the one that's turning out will be somewhere up here. And then, of course, what is left with Helene. Man, the tropics really going to... Look at this. And another system, maybe in the Gulf of Mexico at 384 hours out, very far out. And another system coming off of Africa. Yeah,
that's definitely a bit far out.
I know. It's a bit...
I know. I just wanted to say. I want to say something else real quickly. For David, you earned, I'm sure, a lot of people's respect tonight, because you said it was going to be 70-90. It went, I'm sure, against the opinion of a lot of people, and you stuck to your beliefs, and ultimately it paid off. And congratulations you for that.
I gotta bow. I gotta literally bow.
Yeah, you did.
Bow down. Let me bow.
You stuck to your beliefs. Yep. Also, while everyone's here, there's another lovely channel I'd like to talk about. It's called Pat's Path Predictor. Be sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button on that as well. That'd be much appreciated. That'd be something I'd really like for you guys to do. Because as much as David's been helping me, I've been helping David out. And of course, I'm very happy to be here tonight. And hey, thanks for letting me back in the call, by the way.
Urgent update. Sorry to interrupt.
What's up?
H Wharf down to 920 millibars.
You've got to be kidding me.
Nope. It is way
Oh
deeper.
my-
It is a lot deeper. It is a lot deeper and further south on this. 921 millibars. 920, 921 millibars with
Oh my-
winds of about 120 to 130 knots.
You've got to be I'm kind of laughing at myself right now.
Unbelievable.
'Cause-
All of these
yeah.
models, every single hurricane model, literally uptrended. Well, we'll see if that sticks.
Yeah. Man.
Every freaking model tonight. All the hurricane models, not one. That is... Oh, this is not good. I'm sorry. This is not good.
This makes my stomach churn.
And this makes me want to do a morning video tomorrow, for Pete's sakes. I may have to do that.
I wouldn't. I would wait till the afternoon so that way you can get the properly input the 12Z runs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's what I'll do.
In the meantime, David, I'm looking at infrared imagery. That's something I wanted to bring up. I think I know where our potential area of rotation is, where the center of the rotation is.
Yeah.
I have an idea of where it is.
Yeah,
it's east of that new burst of convection.
It's
just east of it. Yeah,
that makes sense.
You can tell it's starting to rotate around a little bit. I'll share you my stream on the Discord, on your Discord.
Yeah, share your screen then. Or
yep. All right, I got it right here for you guys. Okay. I'm sorry it's not in higher resolution, but here's what we have going on. So basically, you see this new burst of convection start to fire up, and over the last few frames, you're starting to notice this area starting to rotate a bit more around here. You're starting to notice this is starting to rotate a bit to the south, and this huge burst of convection is starting to slowly break down and rotate this way as well. You're getting your cyclonic rotation over here, and it's kind of starting to wrap around this area where my cursor is over here. So that's what I'm looking at right there. I just wanted to show you guys that very quickly. That's what I'm looking at. So you go ahead and
all right. Let me
yep,
see.
You just put it in there. Perfect.
I don't think where the NHC though. I'm following what the NHC after them what they said. The low level center is right where. Also,
that center is not far off from the NHC. Go ahead.
Also, what did I circle in earlier? I said the center is right about here. Remember when I said? Remember when? No.
Oh, yeah.
Remember
that's where it is.
No, hold on. Let me just remember everyone in that I would say, you guys, I think I know the center's right here. I think it's right here. Remember that? Look what the NHC, look at. I was not far off. Literally, I was spot on.
That's you just have to you just have to do a deep dive of the data and you'll figure it out.
That's where it's at. That's where the center is. You just did not say that, Brian. You just did not even say that.
Okay.
Category 10, he said.
Category 10, dude.
Wait, are we in global warming? No, we're not in global warming.
Let's save the climate debate for another time.
Yeah, I will. What's up, Jay Boone? Oh, yeah. Gosh, here we go. People are gonna speculate Cat 11 now. Someone said Category 11. Tom said that.
David, by telling them you're not to say it, you're encouraging them even more.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, let's recenter ourselves, please. Let's recenter.
Yes.
Look at the euro. Then I'm gonna. So it's also important to note too, Pat, the GFS does show a major hurricane, 942 millibars. Someone said, can you look at the GFS, please? So here's a look at the GFS. Does show a 941 and shows winds at major hurricane intensity. So that really speaks a lot right there. Even the GFS is explicitly showing a major hurricane. So that's 5 models tonight. 5 models that show that. And we'll see if the Euro is our 6th model. Let's look at that. Of course the European model doesn't want to go aggressive. Literally, it does not want to go aggressive. Guess what the winds are, Pat?
I'm guessing like Cat 1 or Cat 2.
Not even a category. It's tropical storm with 65-mile-an-hour winds.
Is that the 0Z Euro?
Yes, that's 0Z Euro.
The Euro's been off this year as well. But yeah. Tonight we got a fun fest in terms of the models.
Not a fun fest, a concerning fest.
I'm talking because these runs are quite outlandish. They're hard to believe, but when you puzzle the pieces together, it's hard not to take seriously. Okay.
I also wanted to hold on.
They're
Pat.
asking us to talk about show ensembles very quickly.
Yeah, while you're loading that up, I wanted to just mention to people, specifically the halves B, okay? So the halves B on Weatherbell, okay, because it's in miles per hour, does show a 166-mile-an-hour hurricane. 166-mile-an-hour hurricane with wind gusts, Pat, approaching almost 200 miles per hour.
That's not surprising considering the strength of the storm that this system's putting out.
Look at the winds on that. I'm telling you.
Yep.
Holy macaroni. Man. And guess what? The unfortunate, well, people like live cameras in my live stream. Well, this is the jackpot zone where I will have live cameras. So for once, we will actually have live cameras on the live stream. Live cameras, live weather data.
Yeah. I will, just to let you know, I would be careful with the live cameras and figuring out.
I asked already in an email, and I got cleared by Inco. I got cleared, and there was another one that I got cleared with. We're good.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure so that way you don't get copyright struck.
Okay.
Because I know people are sending. I know Daniel sends me cameras and live footage all the time. And some people send it in chat, and I'm like, yeah, I can't show that because of copyright issues. So. Good for you for doing that, but yeah, PM saying state of emergency will probably be declared tomorrow or Tuesday. Yeah, considering how Ron DeSantis takes this stuff, he's probably going to do it tomorrow. Like, he declared Ian a state of emergency when this wasn't even a named storm. Like, the state of Florida takes this stuff pretty seriously, regardless.
Oh my gosh, LLC says I hope I'm wrong. I'm not going to be wrong because I'm going to get it right. Despite the
I will tell you this, if in wrong in terms of this is weaker than we anticipated, I hope so.
Okay.
Because we do not need a Cat 4 or Cat 5 hitting the panhandle again.
No.
Yeah.
Also, what was I going to think of? Despite the big fiasco on our hurricane models tonight, showing a major Cat 4, Cat 5 hurricane intensity, I am upping the intensity to a 115 mile an hour hurricane projection. I am only going up to 115 miles an hour. I'm not going as bullish as these hurricane models yet.
Yeah, that's realistic.
I'm keeping it. I'm going only up to 115, which I do now forecast this to become a major hurricane in the Gulf. That's what you need to be aware of. Okay, yep, I saw Aero Force. You're 98% done. The Aero Force model is 98% done. Once it's done rendering, we will bring you that, and then I'm going to be off to bed. So you have like 5 or so minutes to render more Aero Force. And Pat, if you could stay online for another 5 or so minutes, because the Aero Force is going to be coming out.
That's fine. That's fine. Oh boy.
Man, look at these wind gusts. And the thing is, look at these wind gusts. Straight up Cat 5 intensity. I mean, wind gusts between 195 to almost 200 miles per hour. Wow. I mean, I'm being freaking serious. Almost 200 miles per hour. Man. I'm actually scared, and I don't even live in Florida, and I'm actually scared. I am scared. And I'm not saying that
gyre systems are it can be very powerful.
I'm not saying that.
Oh, Josh Morganman just put out a tweet referring to all of this.
Oh, shoot.
Main news tonight, the 0Z runs of several hurricane models are showing much stronger than the 18Z runs, all showing Cat 4 or even higher with future Helene. These models have performed decently in recent years, so I am taking note.
Oh, wow. So is this?
That's iCyclone.
What is it? What's his name on Twitter?
Josh Morgerman.
Josh Morgan. Morgerman.
Morgerman.
I got it. Yep, I'm following him. That says a lot. And this guy has 163,000 followers on Twitter. 163,000, and him. Again, I want to read this. I do need her. This is a news story. Again, big shout out does go to Josh Morgerman. You can go check out his post. I'm even going to repost that on my end. Say, this has a very high ceiling. All right, so main news tonight, the 0Z runs of several hurricane models. And let's not even forget the GFS. The GFS, okay, which is the 5th model in part of this. That's not, you didn't even say that, but just adding on a little context there. Explicitly, the HMON, halves A, halves B, are much stronger than the 18Z runs, all showing Cat 4 or even higher with future Helene. These models have performed decently in recent years, so I am taking note of that. That is from a guy that has a lot of followers. So this is hype, but it's reasonable hype. Man, I would freak out if I see this. It's reasonable. Yeah. It really is.
Oh, it's reasonable. I also wanted to point out, this dude chases hurricanes as well. Josh Morgerman, like, he chases hurricanes, and he does a chase analysis. A chase analysis once he gathers all the data with this. He's likely going to go chase this system.
Oh, heck yeah! You bet he is.
Yep.
I mean, for someone that says that, I rarely say this, and please don't make fun of me. This is not good. This is scary. And at this point, if the models continue, I'm gonna hype this up. It's time. I think it's gonna be time to really hype this up. I'm trying to keep my cool, but that could soon break. I am really trying to be generous, and being generous, predicting a Cat 3 right now, middleman child over here. I mean, unbelievable. Just, I don't know.
What I will say is, David, what is the Boy Scout motto? Let me ask you that.
What?
What is the Boy Scout motto?
Boy Scout motto?
Yep.
I don't know what you mean.
Okay. For those in the chat who've been in Scouts before, what is the motto?
Yeah, that's a new word I've never heard.
It's be prepared.
Oh, be prepared.
Yep. It's be prepared.
And
that's the main focus for tonight.
And be prepared. Don't be scared.
Yep. Be prepared. We are prepared. We got to be prepared for this. I know all these runs look scary right now, and while I do think it's important to emphasize this stuff, we also at the same time need to be careful with how we present it, because this is going to cause a lot of panic if we don't do this correctly. And what I will say is remain calm, get prepared, and listen to local officials. We can advise you to go to the grocery store. We have no problem with that. But we cannot advise you, at least it's not in my good conscience to advise you to evacuate.
No.
I can't do that.
No. Listen, all you need to do is, of course, take my word as advice. That's what I do on my channel, is do these hurricane tropical forecasts. All right, and people say I'm doing a very good job. So as long as that's there, I am doing my job at making sure you all are prepared. Don't be scared.
You at least have
be
the
prepared.
Yes.
Be prepared. Don't be scared. Hold on, Pat. Okay.
I know.
So, I can't tell you all to evacuate. I cannot do that. The evacuation team, the people that work in a state, in the government, will tell you that, okay, zone 8505, evacuation order or whatever, an advisory, whatnot, okay? I cannot make those orders. I cannot decide when you just got to follow your local officials. We're the forecasters, not like the NHC. The NHC is far higher than me and Pat. NHC is the king of all kings when it comes to the tropics because they're the experts. They're the officials. But we're the second person forecasters. Me and Pat are. And we could only do what we can do to make sure you are prepared, if that makes sense. Okay? My job is to make sure you all get the latest information as quick as possible. You guys read through it, or no, not read through it, but watch through it. If it's going to be a 20-minute video, so be it. I'm sorry my videos are long, but sometimes it takes 20 minutes to digest all the detail into a video, okay? But also my job is to make sure you guys get the information quick and easy right there in front of your homepage on YouTube, all right? But I could only do so much for you, but you also have to do a lot for me by hitting the red subscribe button, hitting all notifications, the bell notification icon, so that way you're subscribed. So when I do upload a video, if that's in the morning, the middle of the day, or in the evening, you will have those notifications on and ring, so you could hear this. Actually, let me let's see. So you could hear this. All right. Hold on.
What are you looking? What are you doing?
No, I'm doing.
All right.
So you can. get that.
All right.
So
But anyway, yeah. Anyway, the main takeaway for tonight is do not panic, remain calm, listen to your
breathe,
local officials,
breathe,
and yeah,
breathe.
just try to breathe, try to relax. What I will say is your local officials are the ones that tell you to evacuate or not. The state issues evacuation orders, but it's up to the local officials to enforce them in certain areas. That in the state of Florida, it's left up to the local officials because they know the layout of the land better than the state does. I'm just so whenever, let's say Walton County, for example, in Florida, that's where Alley's Beach is, where Walton County is. If the Walton County Sheriff tells you to get out, you get out. Same thing with Jefferson County. I know that's going to be a big county that's going to get impacted by this. That's outside of Tallahassee. If the Jefferson County Sheriff tells you to get out, get out. If the state tells you to get out, listen to your local officials and follow evacuation routes. Regardless, whoever tells you to get out, get out. So that's the main thing I can give you tonight. So that's pretty much all I have. I gave all the analysis I could. David gave a lot of analysis. Now, unless he has a few more things he'd like to share, I'm pretty much done.
All right, I saw the model, and I wanted to show that really quickly.
Sure.
All right, so the RO Force model. This is not an official model, so this is not to be trusted by 100%. But the model does show a 106 mile an hour near major hurricane right after the Yucatan Channel, and it goes north. So that's what that shows. So before I head off, I just want to close this down. Just a few simple words. Thank you all for tuning in to tonight's live stream. I mean, I feel like we got this out to more than almost 1,000 people. Well, way more than that, I'm sure. And all I gotta say is I just pray that this does not get to be as big as what models are showing. I really do. This could end really bad. This could end really bad if all of our hurricane models keep this trend up. And that's the point of that is because of this upper ocean heat content. Okay? This is giving us an example, the ceiling of this system. Because of that tongue, that nose of this upper ocean heat content that we have in place. Okay? In simple way to put it, okay, is it's the depth of how warm these waters go. So the 80-degree isotherm in Fahrenheit goes very far down below the skin of the ocean. So it's not just at the surface, it's also deep down into the ocean. That is where these darker red colors come from, right here. These really very dark red colors are exceptionally high upper ocean heat content, but our system is going to be doing this. Okay, this is exactly where it's going to be moving towards. It's going to go north, and it's going to kind of do that, and it's going to use up or interact with all of this upper ocean heat content. This does not mean we have 90-degree waters. That does not illustrate this. It tells us how far down these waters are. The deeper the upper ocean heat content, or the deeper the warm water goes, the higher the upper ocean heat content, and potentially these storms have a lot of octane fuel to work with. And that is unfortunately what we have witnessed tonight in our 0Z model runs, except for the Icon, Canadian, and the European model, which don't show a hurricane. Actually, no. The Icon is quite close of showing a hurricane, but that's for another day. But because of how serious this actually is, And if this stays the way it is, we are going to have to do 2 updates a day. We are for sure going to have to do that. Probably not tomorrow. Will be 1 video followed by a live stream in the evening. But Tuesday, we're going to be in full all hands on deck. I think we're going to have to do a morning video at like 6 or 7 in the morning, followed by another video at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, followed by a live stream on Tuesday night. As we have Recon out there, we are going to give you a lot of information, and the same thing will go for Wednesday. I think Wednesday is going to have to be a double header again, 2 videos and maybe a live stream. Except I do have open house on Wednesday night from 5 to 8. So that's going to be a little bit more questionable, is if I will be able to live stream Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. But if things go the wrong way, actually, no, Wednesday night I may be able to. It's just going to be a live coverage more session than, say, like what we're doing tonight. All right. I love you guys. I just pray that you guys are going to be safe, because we do not need any more fatalities. 2024, for many reasons that I'm not going to get into, have been really, really bad. Just not a good year. Just not a good year. For many reasons, and you know why. I'm just not going to bring those to, not going to say those out in the video. And adding a Cat 3, 4, or 5 hurricane into the mix is just going to make things worse. It really is. And I just really hope that people could use me and Pat's advice to the best of our abilities. Because this could end, in theory, hurricane models are for a reason. This has a ceiling, evidently, of a Cat 5 based on a couple of our hurricane models, specifically a Cat 5. But also, it has a low ceiling of a low-grade hurricane. That's why we use these hurricane models, for many reasons, okay? Will this stick to our 06Z runs? Will this continue on our 12Z run? I cannot answer that. I can't. Okay? But it's very concerning that all 5 models for Hurricane 1 GFS Global explicitly show a major hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. All right? And we've got to be ready. I've got to be ready to go live on this, and you all have to be ready to take action and follow your local emergency officials, okay? I will be doing, again, my plan of day tomorrow is a video live stream. That's basically kind of iterating, if I don't think I have it anymore, like a recon plan of day. My plan of day, early afternoon update, Pacific time, everything is Pacific time, followed by a live stream in the evening to look over these models again, to recirculate on our 0Z output. And then again, I'll have a timeline. I'll make a community post tomorrow, actually tonight, after this live stream. I'll quickly type one up and show you guys the rundown and the timeline. All right, but otherwise, I love you guys. Please take care. Please be safe. Subscribe, share, and like. And I will be back with you again tomorrow with a double header, 1 video and a live stream. All right, so thank you all for tuning in. Pat, say bye.
Stay safe, everybody.
Please be safe. Check out Pat's channel and subscribe to this channel. All right.
Yep.
Mwah. See you guys.
Bye, guys.